Welcome back to another edition of Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. We got a lot to get into. NBA Finals now 2-1 after the Denver Nuggets hit a big win on the road versus the Miami Heat. We'll discuss it and we'll talk about it and break it down. Also, the Cowboys have a new name for their reinvented offense coming up this year with Mike McCarthy calling the plays. We'll discuss that. Dalvin Cook also will be available. Will the Cowboys be able to acquire, or will they even are they even interested in acquiring the asset? We'll discuss that as well. Also, a Chip Brown report from over at Horns 24/7 says that maybe Sark was tipping his plays last season. We'll dive into that, go behind the burnt orange curtain as well. All of that, and before we do, let's introduce you to the rest of the crew. He was a second-round pick for the Montreal Expos, but a first-round pick for the Austin Radio Network. He was committed to the University of Texas, but decided to forego the 40 acres and chase his dream in the cheese. Pimpin' ain't easy, but for this man, it's a breeze. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Hardball Hard.
What it do? We're close to the weekend. We're getting as close as you could possibly be without being on the weekend. It's a new theme Thursday, so there's a lot for us to get into. I can't wait to talk about this basketball game last night. And, of course, we got baseball on the brain as well. But let me talk about my man that sits across from me. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now College Football Hall of Fame Longhorn Derek Johnson said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But, of course, he is a fan of you, the listeners. He's my man and yours, Rod Bates.
I appreciate the intro, as always, and let's start wasting any time introducing the real MVP, one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustler spirit to it. We don't know what he's paid, but we're pretty damn sure he's underpaid. He's also the idealionaire. It's my man, Patrick Davis, y'all. What's going on, Patrick?
Oh, man, just enjoying being right.
Yes, yelled out about the Nuggets, as that was that was a butt whipping. Old Testament style butt whipping that the Nuggets put on the Miami Heat. We'll get into it and we'll dive into that. Specs text line, what's popping with you? Thanks for the text already. Saying what's popping, my guys. So we'll appreciate that. Specs text line is what's popping. 512-337-3776. You can hit us up there as well. You can use the Twitterverse. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis. I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. Yeah, let's get into it. And next segment, we'll dive into the NFL news notes. Nuggets, Cowboys reportedly have a new name for their new-look offense, and we'll get into Dalvin Cook news, too, that hopefully is Cowboys-related, but it might be Miami Dolphins-related. That's what it's looking like right now. But the Nuggets win a big game, Game 3 on the road. What was the percentage charge yesterday? You said
81.
It was? Team that wins Game 3 has an 81% chance to win the series. They win 109-94. The score, the end score does not indicate to me really what the Nuggets did and how they were able to dominate the second half. It was a close first half. It was competitive in the first half, but Jokic and Murray took over the game. They had arguably, if you just look at the statistical analysis and compare it to other finals performances, it may have been the best performance by duo in finals history.
It was. As far as triple doubles and what we got a chance to
you
see.
Had
100%.
Two 30-point triple doubles. That was the first time in NBA history that teammates have had 30-point triple doubles in the same game, regular season or playoffs. 66 points combined, 31 rebounds, and 20 assists between the two. That essentially is the storyline, is that Jokic and Murray decided to take over that game. I'll give Patrick some credit today. A lot of what Patrick brought up yesterday as the counter to lead off with Jamal Murray. And to that point, how about this little stat? I don't know, Patrick will enjoy this. Denver set 42 ball screens for Murray. They found a lot of ways.
Scored
to
8
get
of
it
the first 10 points.
Yeah,
to score speed of the ball.
So they were early on, like you said, Patrick. They went to go get him in the groove early, get him hot early, close with Jokic. They didn't really have to close with Jokic. They did, but they didn't.
He was third and fourth quarter, but he was definitely second half more.
Second half.
But it was start with Murray. And I'll throw in another step for you. They both shot over 50%, 50% from three. That's the other part. They put up those numbers, and neither one of them was bulk shooting doing it.
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind, because even Jamal Murray early thought he's going to put up points, but it may be bulk shooting and him doing it because he was missing some long shots. And he knew he'd miss a three, they'd get a rebound, and he would go get a layup.
Yeah,
he didn't just make the same mistakes, but you went, all right, he may not be shooting as well. He ends up shooting 3 for 6 from 3, but yeah, I mean, it's what they say on the biggest stages, the brightest stars shine bright.
Yep. Like a diamond.
And
I'm bright like a diamond.
And we saw the two biggest stars in that game turned out to be Jamal Murray and Jokic.
Well, the other part of it too, you start looking at how the game was truly won. You were talking about the 3-point percentage. They only shot 5 of 18 from 3-point land. Yeah. It's the other part. They had 6 points in the paint again.
Yeah,
they were attacking the rim,
and 4 of those were Murray and Jokic.
Exactly, and that's how you sit there and you look at it and you go, all right, what did they do? They got to the free throw line because before they weren't attacking the rim near as much. They did. They went 22 of 27, shot 81%. But the other part of it is the rebounding, the differential in the rebounding. They weren't getting second chance opportunities that they were getting before. We were talking yesterday before we left, the hustle plays, being able to finish out a game. What was the one thing we said? We all agreed Mike Malone has to do a better job. He did.
Yeah.
The players that were hot, he kept them in the game. If you weren't playing well, he didn't put you back in the game. You look at what Brown was able to do, Christian Brown coming in off the bench and being effective in attacking the rim. He was playing like a guy that is trying to prove that he should be in the starting lineup. Those are the types of guys that you want to look at and get the most from. I kept saying, play your role and do what you're supposed to do. And if the role players play well for Denver as opposed to what they do for Miami, if they can outplay each other like that, that is going to be the difference. We all know what Bam Adebayo is going to do. We know what Jimmy Butler is going to do. We know what Jokic is going to do. We know what Jamal Murray is going to do. The biggest question is who is going to supplement both of those guys, both sets on that team, and that's what they got last night. They got it from the Denver bench.
Christian Braun, to your point, he had 15 points. He's probably going to take a lot of minutes from Michael Porter Jr.
For sure. Yeah.
Going forward in this series.
You ain't playing
bad
good,
news.
go sit by me.
Yeah, bad news for Miami because you're hoping he would play because he's having one of the worst series for a Denver Nugget, but he was the third highest scorer. And how about this? Those 15 points that he had, he hit 7 of his 8 shots in like it was a 19-minute stretch.
Yes.
Where he was really kind of, he was just as hot as Jamal Murray and Jokic.
Yes.
And by the way, how about this? Basically, all of his points were on dunks and layups.
Yeah.
Every last one of them.
Monstrous dunks.
Every last
he
one
was
of them.
He was trying to get to the rim every single time, and that's the thing. He was getting it on the wing. He was pump faking, getting into the lane. Those are the things that a guy that is he's been okay for them this year, but he hasn't been great because I liked him. I loved him at Kansas. Mm-hmm. I thought he was a dog at Kansas, but he had other players on his team that were doing different things. But the kid knows how to win. He knows when to time. Like you said, when the lights are bright, I've been there. I've been a part of this.
He's won, 3 high school championships?
Yes.
He won a national championship at Kansas last year, and now he's playing in the NBA Finals and puts up a great game to win.
That's crazy.
Other than pronouncing his own name, he's the best because it's pronounced Brown now.
Yep.
It's Brown.
With Michael.
Even though it's spelled Braun, we all know it's Brown. It's a weird. But I think this goes into, when we talk so much about Heat culture, and you see this is kind of Denver culture of let's go get a guy at the 21st pick who may not be ever going to be, we don't think he may ever be a starter for us, but he is a winner. And he's going to get us things at certain points when we need someone to go down and dig down deep. We know we have a guy on this team that does not like to lose basketball games. And when we say Michael Porter Jr. and KCP are in their own heads because their threes aren't falling, which makes their defense fall back a little bit because they're getting some foul calls that they don't want to be getting, all those things, you just put in somebody who has 0 to lose because he's like, look, man, I'm getting one shot at this. All I know how to do is win. Because clearly I've done it at every level I've been at.
Right.
So I'm going to go out there and just be a effort guy. And Bruce Brown was that guy too.
Yes.
We saw him.
Yes.
He was another guy who came in KCP's place. And basically, if you guys aren't going to put in the effort, Michael Malone says, if you guys aren't going to put in the effort, they're getting your minutes.
And that's what he means. He means that.
And you know what? Jamal Murray ain't coming out of the game, and Jokic ain't coming out of the game. Because they both played, 4 or 5 more minutes?
I want to say Jokic played 43. Something like that.
That's because there was dunk minutes at the end.
Yeah, I want to say it was around 40. It was a little over 40.
I know as much as everybody brings up elevation when you're in Denver, if you've ever tried to do anything athletic or even just drink with somebody who lives in Denver or a high-altitude place like that, their wind is pretty crazy when you get back down too, because they're so used to doing it at a different level that you can take a guy like that, and then when you go to Miami, play him a few more minutes because he's going to have the wind in the legs because he's used to playing at a crazy high elevation.
Yeah.
No, it definitely looked like it. In that fourth quarter advantage that Miami has had the entire series, you didn't see it. You didn't really see it. They were able to smother them and close strong, something they hadn't really done so far in the NBA Finals. And Jokic, just more cartoonish, crazy stats from Jokic. First player in Finals history with 30, 20, and 10.
First ever.
And it's a third 20. It's a third 30, 20, 10 game of his playoff career, which is one more than every other player in NBA history combined. Because I believe Kareem and Wilt also each had one 30, 20, 10 game in the playoffs. But Jokic has had 3 of them jokers. Yeah. And, of course, first one in the finals.
Seriously, jokers.
I know that. But, I mean, he is, at this point, I don't
It's almost cartoonish, just like you said.
Man,
It's
mind-blowing.
It definitely
is. A
is.
big man like that.
Especially because of the way that the game is played nowadays as well. You know, most of the time you're that big, they want your back to the basket. I mean, obviously that's changed a long time ago, but you look at what he's able to do and the vision that he has and the way he adjusts. I've never seen anybody shot that is so soft around the rim that every time it looks like it's supposed to bounce off, it goes in.
He's got some of the softest hands for a big man ever.
Like,
you see that in his passing, too.
Yes.
You see that in his passing. You know, his touch is like NFL quarterback touch stuff, like up there with league. I'm with you. It's amazing. And it's the package. Right?
Yes.
It's the package that makes it look so unorthodox and so obtuse. But all that skill that is usually still reserved for, guards and a guy with that type of kind of rotund, kind of figure. Usually those guys aren't that skilled. He is. It's just don't let the don't let the cover of the book fool you.
Right.
Don't judge the
exactly
book by its cover, because this dude is probably the most skilled player in the NBA. It's weird to say that, but you got to watch him.
Yeah.
And then you'll be a believer.
You got to watch him.
You don't watch him, you won't be a believer. You watch him, you go, yeah, I believe it.
It was one of those things, like you would always say LeBron. LeBron had the best body control of any player I ever saw. For a guy that size, to be able to move around, to not get fouled, to do things just so well with body control. And Jokic, the crazy part was, we saw last night, we talked about it before, that they were probably going to try and go more outside in and not try and start and throw it into him in the post because Miami was guarding that really well.
Yeah.
Well, he could take the ball at the three-point line and then drive the ball and then take his entire weight going towards the basket, stop, pop, and put up a little layup. It's hard to stop that amount of weight and that size when you're driving on a guy going to the basket and not run through them and not run past the basket and put the ball too hard off the rim or too hard off the backboard. All of that body control and to be able to dribble and have the handles to be able to go at a guy, and to where he's not even able to really go for the steal because you're moving so much. You watch some of those drives on him, and he's turning his back real quick, and then he's back forward, and then he's left, and then he's right. And you see the guy's like, I'm just trying to stay in front of him so he doesn't just lay the ball unopposed.
But then you try to stay in front of him and stay agile, but he can just go and bully you if he wants to at any time because of his sheer size. He's a polar bear out there moving like he's a ballet dancer. And you're like,
the dancer bear. That's
early in the
game.
It was early in the game. Jimmy Butler gets switched over to him, and he's just like, give me the ball. Right. Just back Jimmy Butler down, puts the ball in real quick. Like, Jimmy's like, what do you want me to do?
And the crazy part about it, I don't think people thought it was an aesthetically pleasing game at first, just because, like I said, in the package that it's in. But the more people are watching him, they're realizing, like, no, there's some artistry to this.
Yeah,
it's artistic, man. It's pretty amazing, and I
put some respect on that man's name when you watch him play.
I hope it doesn't just take basketball fans. I hope he can transcend, because LeBron has fans. I always tell my wife, she's one time she walked in on me. I was listening to some I was listening to a little jazz, and then she's like, "What are you listening to?" And I was like, she's like, "Are you listening to jazz?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm listening to." I was like, "Actually, no, I'm listening to Miles Davis."
Yeah.
So there's a difference.
There is a difference.
And I can watch NBA. I can be watching LeBron, but not watching the NBA.
Correct.
Right? And you got fans, like
Correct.
there are people that are
Yeah.
watching Tom Brady that don't necessarily give a damn about the NFL.
Right.
And I hope that Jokic can have that kind of appeal because he does have that kind of skill.
Well, if he keeps putting up these types of numbers and the word keep going out, we keep talking about him, the mainstream keeps talking about him, and everybody is paying attention to what this guy is doing. If you are a true sports fan, you want to see that. Even if you're not a baseball fan, you want to go see some talented guys. Barry Bonds is in town. Well, okay, let's go check that out.
Yeah.
I'm not here to watch the game. I'm here to watch Barry.
Lionel Messi's in town.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about soccer. I'm going to see
I'm
Messi.
gonna go
though.
see Messi. You know what I'm saying? So you want to see? I want to see what all the fuss is about.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
he is definitely worth the price of admission. He's not gonna wow you, but you're gonna leave there going, this dude just had the first triple double,
30-point
30-point triple double
In the final.
in NBA
30, well,
history.
30, 2010.
30-20.
2010.
Yeah, so
30,
30
20,
points, 20 rebounds.
Yes.
And 10 assists.
30,
And think about all the great players that have played this game.
Yeah.
And, for Jamal Murray and them to still be in at the end to be able to get that last rebound for him to get his triple-double, I thought that was a little bit much.
Well, that
but
was-
they play all the way through because
Well,
you got days
Miami
off, too.
cut it down to 8-9.
Yeah.
Like, Miami cut to single digits with a minute and a half to go. So they weren't going to, but you couldn't just be like, well, let's see where this goes. And then it's a 4-point game.
Yeah, I was
So I
laughing.
get why they put it back in because it's like, Miami is, and we said before, Miami is like a worm that can regenerate.
Yeah.
You can cut it in half, and then there's just two worms
look
coming
back
back
and
at
you're
you.
like, wait a
You're
minute.
like, I killed that worm a minute ago. And then like, nah, man, there's two worms now. That's what happens with Miami. So you have to just continue to put it out of its misery.
Yeah.
Even though you were winning that game. With a minute and a half, they call a flagrant foul on Jamal Murray at the end of that game, which was a good no call.
I thought he was fouled before that. That's the
He
thing that
was.
bothers me.
Yeah, no, he was, but they never call that because that's just. And believe me, as a basketball player, it is the most infuriating thing. It's like that dude punched me in the face 3 times,
And you was thinking
then
he was
I
going
looked
for
up
the
at you
ball.
and he knocked the ball out, and you're like, "Good steal." You're like,
Yeah.
this was in the first quarter. You would have thrown him out of the game.
Yeah.
But,
Exactly.
But you saw that at the end. And if they would call it a flagrant on that one, it was 7 points, I think, at the time. There would have been 2 shots in the ball. Like a minute and a half. They're right in that game.
Yeah.
So that's why he's in, is because you're like, one just gets away from you. You throw a ball away and they get a 3 real quick. It's,
When Duncan Robinson hit that 3, they got the foul and all that stuff happened. I said, I guarantee you they're gonna miss this next shot. Who wants in on this? Because the momentum was going too much.
Yeah.
But it was like, y'all aren't winning. So you're gonna throw up a shot that you shouldn't take. And sure enough, that's what they did. They ended up fouling him. He went to the free throw line, and that was the ball game. But the one thing that I think does not need to be overlooked, and it was about the fourth quarter. And obviously, during the timeout, they went to Michael Malone in the huddle, and he said, they've won the fourth quarter in 2 of these games. They're not doing it tonight. And then they got lazy a little bit. And my man Jeff Green was sitting on the bench, and he was mic'd up. And he told him, this is not that time to start playing. This is not the time to start messing around. We need to close this out. And you can see the respect that a lot of these guys have for Jeff Green and what he brings, because Jeff trying to get him another ring too.
Yeah. No, I mean, you saw him. They showed him earlier in the game mic'd up talking to Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
And being like, look, when he cuts this way, you got to get – and it would just basically being another coach on the floor.
He's a Udonis Haslem.
Yeah.
He's
Which Udonis
Udonis.
got in that game.
And you saw
they told him to take a
somebody-
shot, and he's like, guys, I ain't shot in practice in 3 years.
Somebody
ain't supposed to
tweeted
get in
out.
the game.
Somebody tweeted out. They got him out here like a Make-A-Wish. They got him going.
If Udonis is in the game in the finals, things have gone horribly wrong.
But I
think we
will
all
tell you
know.
this about Jokic. When we talk about how well he's playing and how translate, this to me is you gave the MVP to Embiid Jokic performance.
Yep.
This is playoffs has been you gave the MVP to him. And as much as they ask him when they ask him at the end of the game, what does it mean to have 30, 20, 10, the first guy ever to do it in the NBA Finals? He goes, we won the game.
Yep. So she said, I knew you were going to say that.
It's
Yeah.
just
It
that.
was a
So
stat.
I get all that, but I can tell you, the way he's playing in this, he's not thrilled that he didn't win that MVP. And I think he's more unhappy when you look at the ballots and he's like, I got like 7 first place votes.
Yeah.
Y'all don't think I'm that far behind?
No, we get bored as a society and a sports fandom
It is.
with even with greatness. We get bored with it if we've seen it already before.
But I love it because that's when you see the best of a players when they're like, oh really?
yeah, no, he's right.
And he's cashing those
Well,
checks right now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
show
yeah.
show us something we haven't seen, which is
Yeah.
you win a title.
Yep.
We get bored with it. Sorry.
Exactly.
We
Yep.
get bored with the greatness. We're like, all right, MVP twice, the regular season. Okay,
That's cool.
All right, yeah, what have you done for me lately? Show me something new. And that's exactly what he's doing right now with a 30, 20, and 10 performance in the NBA Finals. He's got 3 of those, by the way, which is more than everybody else in the history of the NBA combined in the postseason.
Unbelievable.
Kareem and Wilt each did it once.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know that's
He's fun to watch, too.
He is fun to watch. Like I said, I hope it ends up becoming more mass appeal where people, they want to watch his must-see television.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that right now. I don't know if he's must-see television.
Yeah, because he's still got that Tim in his game where it's like super fun if you're a basketball fan to sit and watch. But on the mainstream, you're like, it's another bank shot or it's another. And he does a lot of that stuff. So there's that part where I get when people just go, wait, he's already got 15?
No, he's it's like my Eric Kennedy take, right? He makes it look so easy that at times, the non-basketball fan, just the novice spectator, they can come a little bored, like, okay, so he's dominating, but give me something to wow me.
There's no flair to it.
And John Morant, exactly. You watch John Morant throughout a game, and John Morant will have at least 4 or 5 plays where he's trying to jump over another human being.
Yeah.
Or at times we thought he was going to lay it up, and no, he just said, no, I'm going to dunk in a dude's face.
Yeah.
And that people want to see those are wow plays. Those are superhuman plays. His superhuman abilities are a little bit more discreet and subtle, but they are no less effective.
No, and
actually
I think
more effective.
He looks really good on slow-mo because I don't think you take all of what he does in when you're just watching a game. You don't see, he just made 8 moves to get to the basket. He had like 8 separate basketball moves to get to the basket, and they show the replay, and you see him make a crossover, and then you see him turn and put his shoulder in, and then you see him back and you're like, I didn't realize he just did 8 different, and I can see the defender's face, which is just of like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
You're the only person I have to defend like this.
To that point, the sector says, yep, even his misses are sexy. He had a passing game to the palmed immediately and tossed in he said tossed in a half second. It was like a tap pass, but it wasn't.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember it. It's led to a fast break.
It is, and if you watch it in real time, it doesn't look the same as when you see it in slow-mo and you see every little bit he's doing, and you just go, good Lord.
Yeah. This section says he's got video game stats for Jokic. They are kind of video game and we just take it for granted that he's basically close to averaging a triple-double. Basically, he is close to averaging a 30-point triple-double in the finals.
Which is
because he's averaging
ridiculous.
33 points, 14 rebounds, and 9.3 assists.
Because he had 1 bad assist game.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. He had 4 assists in one of those games, and it's still close to those.
And shooting 44% for three-point range. So almost 45%. It's video game numbers, just like the texter said. That's a great point the texter brings up. I always, as an example of that competitive sickness or that chip on your shoulder, when VY didn't win that Heisman, everybody remembers his face.
Oh my goodness!
And I still say to this day, Longhorn fans, you couldn't have both. If he'd have won that Heisman, I don't think you win the national title. I think you lose just enough of his competitive sickness, just enough of his that fortitude,
and
that
he does
will
make the
to win.
phone call to the team right after and tell them.
And I'm not saying that it would have been a great game, but USC game could have gone either way. It was like 3 or 4 amazing plays on Texas side that swung it for them. And I think they could have got it. You didn't get the Heisman, but you got the national title because VY wanted to show the world y'all got it wrong.
Yeah.
And I think after the game, everybody was like, yeah, I think we got the Heisman wrong there. That guy probably should have won it. He was amazing. In a face-off, he basically, in head-to-head competition, he showed you who was better.
Do we think Jokic should be in a Taco Bell commercial after all this? Because now they keep bringing up that he was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial.
Oh, absolutely. This is the perfect time.
This is the time because he was drafted during a
Bring back the
quesarito commercial.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to
Not a bad idea.
Bring that back.
It's not a bad. That's a great way to start marketing your best player.
Yeah,
it's a
like,
great
hey,
way
man,
to
put him in
start
there.
it.
I was drafted during a Taco Bell
I'm all
commercial.
During the World Series, they always get you, if you steal a base, you get a taco for lunch. Go ahead and get the Joker going, too.
No question. All right, we come back. We'll get into the NFL news, notes, and nuggets. Cowboys have named their new look offense with Mike McCarthy calling the plays. Oh, I thought Hart would be really excited about this. Apparently, he's not. He's a little suspect on this. We'll get into that. Also, Dalvin Cook is going to be available. The Dallas Cowboys have a look at Dalvin Cook. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, Wonderful on the Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Austin is a magnificent city. It's beautiful. That's why people love it. That's why people keep moving here. They all want to call it home. And part of that aesthetic appeal is the skilled craftsmanship of our good friends at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They've been helping shape this city since 1935. That's a really long time. And as our city continues to grow and thrive, so do our friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. And you see the labors of the love all over this great city. And iconic, exquisite landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And like I said, if you're looking for an exciting new career, you can actually become a valued member of Ironworkers Local Union 482. If you're frustrated with your work choices and your career path, maybe you want something new, something fresh, something that will challenge you, you can accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape our city's economic development by becoming a member of Ironworkers Local Union 482. Right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project. You heard me right, 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas. And you can become one of these lucky folks because you can become a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that help shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new theme Thursday. That's when the Idealionaire, Patrick Davis, plays some jams, some selections, and based on the songs that are played, Harsh and I are supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us to the theme of the day. I like the song. I'm not sure what the clue it's leading. The clue is, and what it's leading me to.
No idea.
All right, it's the first one. It's the first clue for a new theme Thursday. Okay. Drug references there.
I did.
I mean, it's the Beatles.
I'm just saying. So I'm trying to extract things from the lyrics of the song that may lead me to what the theme is. And like, maybe a drug theme.
Yep. Possibly.
Just saying. All right. Or it could be Beatles related. Who knows? Okay. All right. So that's first clue of a new theme Thursday. We'll get back to that conversation. We'll also get to the Specs text line as well. 512-337-3776. Let's get into the Cowboys here, gentlemen. Harge, I don't know if you heard about this story or not. Have you heard this?
There's some rumors
story
out
about Dak Prescott and his excitement for the new look Cowboys offense.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, he is so excited that he is actually, I don't know if he did this or maybe others were involved in this as well, but apparently Dak and some of the other Cowboys have nicknamed the Cowboys' new look offense.
Yeah.
Hards, they're calling it the Texas Coast offense.
Texas Coast offense.
Yes, apparently, according to Dak, he says, funny, this is the Texas Coast. We just renamed that, the quarterbacks. It's definitely got some West Coast principles, but has a little bit of what we've done in the past and just obviously marrying them together with a lot of detail and maybe in a sense, a system that's not out there. So there you go. I'm not really sure what this is. It kind of reminds me of when HBO Max turned to Max.
Yeah, like what was that about?
Well, look,
you know what I'm
it's the same thing. You just changed the name to Max and then added some crap and then you called it Max.
It's not the exact same thing. They added another service to it. But it's not a service that people. They added Discovery Plus to it.
They added some crap. Like I said, they added some crap, and then they took away the HBO and said we call it Max. And trust me, I have it, so I know it's crap. All right,
I like
all the good stuff over there is the HBO stuff, and then they added a bunch of crap to it.
Like
It's called Max
too. Is Max on there?
But they just add terrible stuff that nobody wants to watch.
No, I was watching some Otis Redding on there last night.
Oh, okay.
No, for what program? For what?
TC Turner Classic Movies.
All right. He doesn't
So
watch-
they're part of it. Turner Classic Movies is part of the Max too, because I haven't even ventured into it.
It's fun. Look, if you like true crime
thing,
if you like true crime stuff, it's got all the true crime stuff in there now.
it's the same thing.
It's got other stuff in there.
It's the same thing. That's why this Cowboys new offense is basically the same
It's the
thing.
same thing.
And that's why
There might be
the
some
thing.
different verbiage
Yeah,
every once in a while.
you gonna throw some little crap in there. It's okay, but it's basically HBO Max is the same thing as Max. Like they added some stuff and they want you to think it's fine so they can up the price on you. But trust me, from a guy who consumes it, it's the same thing. The Cowboys offense it's been a top 5 offense under Kellen Moore.
Yep.
Yeah, top 5 offense. As much as Cowboys fans complain about, it's top 5 offense. Just
I
like
think last year, I think they were top 4 with 27.1 points per game or something like
and
that.
then it goes back to my HBO Max comparison. Like it was fine. It was a good app then. Like it was good. That a lot of stuff that you wanted to do. There's nothing really wrong with it. They just now want to reinvent it and repackage it because basically because Mike McCarthy, in my opinion, Mike McCarthy's job is kind of on the line here.
Definitely is.
If he doesn't get them past the divisional round.
Definitely is. They should be playing for a NFC championship representative.
Yes.
They should be that.
And so for other people who don't, Cowboys fans want to complain about the Cowboys offense. But the truth is the Cowboys offense, and I went and looked at the Cowboys offense and took out defense. We look at the offense without non-offensive touchdowns. So take away the defensive touchdowns, take away the kickoff return and the punt returns. Cowboys still third behind Philadelphia and Kansas City, 2 teams that played in the Super Bowl in scoring. Take away all non-offensive touchdowns. The offense, it you know what I mean? Like it was not some trash offense. So that's kind of the point. Like I know Mike McCarthy wants to promote
it's like Greg Davis.
His new version of it. Yeah, but it's like, what are you going to do to an offense that was already top 3 in the league? What are you going to do to it? Like, what are you going to do to it?
Maybe he's going to try to.
How do you want to run more?
That's the rumor. I think what he's doing is trying to set people up. We're going to give a lot of play action, which is where he's had success, where Dak has had success. But the other part for me is when you're talking about calling it something else, this is basically the offseason. So we're going to just throw some stuff out there. We're going to have Dak language. We're going to have Mike McCarthy's thought process. But at the end of it, it is Bill Walsh's offense. They're going to do the short drops, get the ball out quick, do those types of things, which is absolutely 100% fine with me. All I care about is, can you do it in clutch time at the end of games? You can put up a lot of points. Some of them points that they can put up, they put them up early in games a lot of times. So it's like I can go out there and go for 20, but y'all going to talk about I don't score in the fourth quarter. I average 20 points, but I don't score in the fourth quarter. Or I don't make crucial passes in certain times. So, yeah, we've seen that before, because the truth of the matter is when Tony Romo was the quarterback, the offense was good. He just made crucial interceptions late in games. And I liked Tony Romo, just like I like that. Just don't make the bad throw late in games, as we saw against San Francisco.
To be fair, Dak hasn't done that in season prior to last year.
1,000%
his career interception rate, it was 2%, which is tied for 8th among quarterbacks. And two of those guys aren't even full-time starters. And prior to last season, coming into last season, I think it was like 1.7%.
Yeah, I think I sent you guys that picture of what he was compared to some of the other quarterbacks.
Last year was our character.
Yeah, since 2021, the most interceptions thrown. Josh Allen has 29. Derek Carr has 28. Joe Burrow has 26. Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Davis Mills, and Trevor Lawrence all have 25 interceptions. So, yeah, and last year, was 18 or 15, 17 for Dak?
Yep.
Something that, to your point, very out of character. And this is since 2021. So as we look into this season, and you're hoping that he's doing a better job, and we have some sound from what my man Brendan Cooks, the new guy who's supposed to help this team, this is what he had to say about what he's seen and learned from Dak. Because a lot of people always want to put it on the stats, but there's other things that are involved to making a good team go.
What has stood out to you stood out far about Dak Prescott, the way he throws the ball, his work ethic?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a special thrower, but one of the things that stood out right away, his leadership. You know, like I said, I'll follow that guy into the line of fire just because the way that he works, he don't just talk about it, but he beats about it as well. And I got a lot of respect for him from that aspect.
That's our girl Jane Slater reporting that. So for what Dak brings and where people always want to be critical of him, you want to have a good leader on your squad and somebody that everybody wants to fight for, not with. You want to have that guy there. So I'm hoping that this new offense, the Texas Coast offense, flourishes. But we all going to look at it and say, that's the West Coast offense. He said we got West Coast principles.
Well, even Dak said earlier, they're only changing like 30% of the offense.
Yeah.
They're not changing much of the offense at all.
It ain't broke. So, that's to your point about the stats.
Yeah,
it's not
like,
broken.
They want to run the ball more. I get that. It would help. And we'll get into the next discussion if they could get a bell cow running back, and maybe that's what they could pursue in Dalvin Cook, who is going to be available here coming up in the next couple of days or the next few hours even, whenever it's finalized. But it's expected that he's going to be on the market. But getting back to the Cowboys, for Dak, it's really a simple, in my opinion, kind of a simple tweaks to the offense. He has to run more play-action pass because he's great at play-action pass. Not so great, or at least he's just average at your kind of straight drop-back passes. Last season, you go look at his interceptions, 14 of his 15 regular season interceptions, and actually to take the playoff interceptions, so I think he do 2 in the playoffs. So 16 of his 17 interceptions came on straight drop back.
Yeah.
He threw 1 interception when throwing play action pass last season.
I've been saying from the very beginning, I'm like, these dudes are missing the message.
102 passer rating with play action pass. Without it, pass rating drops to 87. And he's been top 5. How about this? I went back and looked at it. Dak has been top 5 in passer rating for quarterbacks when using play action pass for all but one of his years in the NFL. And the Cowboys were 9th in play action pass last year. They should be top 3.
Yeah.
They really should. They should be really out there. And maybe they will be. They actually hired a new analytics guy too. Analytics expert to be their head of strategic football ops, director of strategic football ops. John Park is his name. He was with the Colts forever, since like 2016, I believe. He's with the Colts, and now he's with the Cowboys. Their recent head of analytics left, so he's actually a rising star in the NFL. You don't hear about analytics, kind of nerdy, but he will help the Cowboys be able to maximize a lot of their numbers and assets. He does a really good job with that. So he did a good job with the Colts. I think he'll do a good job with the Cowboys. So maybe he'll point to that, hey, man, you got to start doing more play action pass. And maybe that's why you want to run more. But you can play action pass without having to run a ton.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, too.
Miami
I
does
was fixing to say, it's all about how you get to that point. Is it the motion? Is it the misdirection? No matter how you do it, if the numbers tell you that you're good with the play action, let's run some doggone play action.
Run more of it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
The Cowboys were at 26% last year, 26.5% last year. They probably should be closer to 30% on that number. All right, let's get to this Dalvin Cook news. There's also big news. Dalvin Cook is expected to be released by Miami. It'll be finalized, I should say, pretty soon.
Minnesota.
Sorry.
Yep.
Minnesota. I almost said Miami. I'm thinking about
I know why you're thinking about it.
But he's one of his favorite spots, I should say. It may be Miami because that is his home is in Florida. But either way, right now Dalvin Cook is a free agent. I have told you guys the Cowboys don't like pursuing free agents. Stephen Jones is on the record for saying that he believes you overpay in free agency. The Stephen Gilmore, that was a trade. Brandon Cooks, that was a trade. They're fine with trades because they believe they can get better value on the trade market than on the open market in free agency. So I don't have a lot of confidence that the Cowboys are going to make a move here. They should. I'm not saying they shouldn't. They should make a move, but the Cowboys don't like to overpay. And, they're already getting a lot of criticism for overpaying for running backs the last 2-3 years. And you can overpay for another one. You probably should if you want to go all in and win Super Bowl. But I don't think that's the way they're going to go.
So here's my problem, and this is something that you and I and Patrick have even talked about. The running back position getting messed over, because of the way that they're being used nowadays.
Yeah.
But Dalvin Cook is somebody that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's had 1,000 yards four consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Even when he's been dinged up, he still ends up getting 1,000 yards and 43 rushing touchdowns. He's only 27 years old. And you look at a guy like Derrick Henry, we saw what he's capable of doing. Christian McCaffrey, when he broke the bank, supposedly, he was probably, I think, the last of the Mohicans to be able to get that kind of money right there, if you really think about it. And now you look at a Jonathan Taylor. You look at what Saquon Barkley is going through. Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs. These are some very, very talented running backs that are now not even being looked at as quality for your squad, which is utterly ridiculous because you do have a platoon type of backfield, and I know everybody was talking about the last Super Bowl winners. The base salaries would probably be $1 million for the running backs, most of them. But that's still not the point. The point is the dude is talented, and he's busted his tail for the league, and now y'all just, let's get on out of there. What's Nick Chubb going to get? Nothing.
No, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you can negotiate, and it's tough for running backs to negotiate.
Mark Ingram said they need to start a union. So did Austin Eckler, but Mark Ingram was talking about it today about how it's just getting to that point, and he's not even thinking about himself anymore. He's thinking about these young running backs that are super talented. Bijan Robinson gonna use them up.
They are,
and then they're gonna be like, peace out.
Which is why a lot of these guys, they want to be used more in the passing game.
Yeah.
Because at least it may not increase their value, but at least it'll extend their careers.
Yeah, and also, and when using the passing game, they want to be used as receivers in the passing game because this is a thing where Dalvin Cook to the Cowboys may not be as great. is that with age, his pass blocking skills have gone down a little bit. That's one of the reasons the Vikings wanted to move over to Mattison, because he is a much better pass blocker. He's a really good pass blocker, and they want to throw the ball more because everybody wants to throw the ball more. And I know the Cowboys said they don't. Cowboys said they want to go the opposite way, but Dalvin Cook is another guy who, as you age and as your knees hurt more, you really don't want it to be an offensive lineman as much as you have to be, and be a tight end, be a blocker. So that's another part where guys are like, man, you want me to sit back here and play O-line for you for half a game and then run the ball, and then if I get 4 yards, you're going to be like, not good enough. I need 6. And you're going to cut me for someone younger because their knees aren't as bad. I get where it sucks. I think for Dalvin Cook, though, with the Cowboys, it may not, depending on, like, if Price is right.
Yeah, because he's going to want his money because he's a running back. He's like, I got to get paid now, dog, because nobody wants to pay running backs.
And so if he comes in and goes, oh, no, you guys really have this hole, and I think I can fill it and I can make it, then great. But I don't think that's the case. I think he
wants the money.
He wants the money. And if he doesn't want the money, he wants to go play in Miami and play in a town that he probably wants to be in more than Dallas. And with the coach, he probably wants to play for more than Mike McCarthy. And with other players, it just makes sense that that's where he wants to go.
Yeah, that's
I'm
scary.
looking at Miami right now.
That's scary, man.
They got
Mostert.
They got Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson,
A-Chain.
They just got A-Chain. They got Myles Gaskin.
That's scary.
I mean, they have a lot of speed, putting them with Waddle and Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson still out there.
If he goes to Miami, I might be picking them to win that division. If he goes to Miami, because with that Vic Fangio there now,
yep,
and then add Jalen Ramsey there now.
You got to remember, the Jets are there now with Aaron Rodgers.
I know, and that defense is going to be nasty too.
Yeah,
if they can get Quinn Williams to sign it,
by the way,
him.
That's all contingent on Tua staying healthy. By the way,
right, exactly.
If Tua staying healthy, but we don't know.
They got Mike White now.
Actually, it's a good point,
too.
They got Mike White can ball a little bit before drafted by the Cowboys.
Of course.
Used to be a Jet.
Did you see the Mike McCarthy quote when they were trying to get him to say something before he was officially released? And he knows not be tampered. He goes, March 3rd, 1983, the day I was born, right? Now we take a closer look at that date. And that, in fact, was not yesterday.
I love me somebody like that. That's awesome. So I hate to say it. I don't think he's going to be a Cowboy. It should happen. But the Cowboys don't want to overpay for anybody in the free agent market. And if Patrick just kind of broke down, he's going to want max value, and he should. You talked about it, hard as the running backs being devalued. It might be his last chance to get a bag before he has to hit the kind of the geriatric running back market, where it's like
it's cold blooded.
It is,
but that's what it is. My man is 27 years old, and they already writing him off.
I believe if you're a 35-year-old woman trying to be pregnant, they call it a geriatric pregnancy. It's like I'm 35.
I'm 35. What are we doing?
Not for women trying to be pregnant. You're geriatric. That's basically what running backs are. You're on that kind of timetable.
Yeah.
That's basically what, unfortunately. So for Dalvin Cook, 27 years old, I agree with you. I think he's still got 2 good years in him. 2 good years.
Used correctly. And that's the deal. But this is where if you're signing him now, I think you're signing him knowing what you're going to do with him and go, yeah, we don't want to make you the bell cut back. Now, he could get into that place where you sign him in that and then get injuries at the running back position. And guess what? You got to do 35 carries a game.
Right.
Like that happens.
Yeah.
But I think you're signing him, especially if he goes to like a Miami. And it's like, look, you're 15 carries a game, man.
Yeah.
If in Miami would be a great spot, of course, because they run a lot of zone blocking. By the way, from the Vikings, they had the second highest rushing percentage behind zone blocking. So he's a zone blocking running back. The Chargers, with Kellen Moore, because somebody threw that out there as a good place because they want to get rid of Austin Eckler. I wonder if they want to something patchwork between that Austin Eckler move. I know they just signed him to like a incentivized deal, but he wants to get paid.
Yeah,
and they've already said they're not going to pay him what he wants to be paid. So they might look for a stopgap. Also, keep in mind Denver. Keep Denver in mind.
Yeah.
With Sean Payton, they might be trying to make a move.
They're making moves. They got Frank Clark today.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a move.
Yeah, they're making moves.
That's a move right there.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that one.
Yeah.
Kansas City could happen, but I just don't see them overpaying for a running back.
No, they got Pacheco too.
This doesn't make any sense.
Like
for
they got
City.
big.
About not paying.
They drafted well on Pacheco, so why would you spend money when you've already got a guy that you're paying almost nothing?
Yeah,
Yep.
I just don't. They don't. It's not like they need a running back to push him over the top.
Well, it goes
They
back
don't
to
need,
what I.
like, you know what I mean? What are you gonna get? What is he gonna do for you?
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about. If the salary, Super Bowl winners and their leading rushers in salary. The leading rusher for when the Chiefs won it in 2020, Damian Williams. He was making $1 million. You look at the money. We talked last year about the Philadelphia Eagles getting to the Super Bowl. Their running back room was not worth a lot of money.
I know.
So you
Who's
sit
the
there,
last big money running back like to win a Super Bowl? Like
Ray Rice. He was making $2 million when he was with the Ravens.
That does say a lot. It says a lot about organizational habits and practices.
Yeah.
That those teams that end up winning Super Bowl, none of them have been overpaying for a running back.
Yeah, so look at 2020. The
They're
Chiefs, when they won in 2020, $1 million, Damian Williams.
Yeah.
When the Patriots won in 2019, Sonny Michel was the running back. He was making $480.
Yeah, because they had him on a rookie deal, I believe,
Yes.
still, right? Yeah.
LeGarrette Blunt with the Eagles in 2018, $900,000. And don't forget, the reason why LeGarrette Blunt was with the Eagles is because the year before he was with the Patriots. They won a Super Bowl. He was making $760 at that point.
And so think about the Cowboys. Who's their highest paid running back? Tony Pollard?
Tony Pollard.
Making, what, $10 million?
And that's just because of inflation.
I don't give a damn. You're talking about organizational habits and practices, and that don't sound good.
Hey, they believe me. They
You know,
look at us
you know what the Eagles are paying right now for their entire running back room? Like $4 million.
I know.
$4 million.
They need to make a move, Rod.
Oh, Texas says Dalvin Cook with Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. Ooh.
But they got Brees Hall over there.
They do
just
have Britt, but
drafted him.
still, you don't want one running. He got injury history anyway. One running back can't be a bell cow anymore, and they're all in. So
I'm
they
just
would,
trying
they
not
would,
to agree.
They would spend stupidly. That's a good one, Texter. I like that.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Man, it's the arms race in that AFC East.
Yeah.
Patriots are going to
and
finish
especially
last.
because you gotta keep him away from the Dolphins too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because
That's
that's
the
a double.
race.
So if you sign him, you get him, and they don't get him.
They got Brees Hall and they got Michael Carter.
No, I take
Carter.
that. You put Dalvin Cook and Brees Hall in that backfield, that's scary. All right, we come back. We'll get into the flex on the side right here on Borderline 141. Wow. Welcome back to Ball on Live right here on a New Theme Thursday. New Theme Thursday is one man, Patrick the Ideallionaire, takes jams, certain songs that are supposed to provide marginary clues and hints that lead us to the new theme of New Theme Thursday. This is the theme song from Friends. I know that.
It's called, yes.
But I obviously know that's something else.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, I definitely have no idea what the new theme is. Harge, you're better at this than I am.
Failure today.
Failure.
Yeah.
First song was the Beatles.
And it was talking about
Drug references, and now
you get one more. By the third, we'll get it. We'll get you. I'll give you the song titles on the third one.
Okay, I know the song actually too. Unfortunately, I watched way too much Friends.
I was going to say, you are definitely a
I'll
Friends
tell you what
person.
you don't know, because I was listening to this when I was putting together the list.
Yeah.
There's a second verse.
Oh, yeah, because it's a real song.
Yeah. There's a second verse, and when it comes on, it's jarring.
Yeah,
because you've never heard it.
Yeah, because most people thought, because most like, oh, it was made for Friends. Like, no, it was a real song.
Yeah, it was a real song.
They took Friends.
There's a second verse, and you're like, what? What is this? I don't like that.
I gotta tell you, I have never heard the second verse. I think it's a real song.
I've never heard until today. I was like, all right, is this playlist or getting
Is this band famous for anything other than this song?
I don't think so.
Man, they're lucky that Friends picked it as the theme song then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, their one-hit wonder wouldn't have been a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the song was okay.
Well, maybe it was a hit. I don't know.
But not at the level it
would have been less. It wouldn't have been as infamous, maybe. Let's get to the Flex, FLXATX.com, FLXATX, on all of your social media platforms. Yesterday, you had your Wednesday night Flex, and it was a great show. They had Heath McCree on, the wide receiver from Westlake, and he's fast. He can run.
Yeah, he can run.
Low 10. I mean, he runs on their 4x1 team. Their 4x100 team runs the 100 meters. Low, like a 10-4. I might have jipped him 10. He's in there.
He picks it up and down.
Yeah, low 10s, I should say, in 100 meters. Really talented prospect. And I think he also told me he got an offer from San Diego State yesterday when I met the young man. Great young man, too. Yeah. His brother is a tight end at USC.
Correct.
Who played at Lake Travis. Yeah, so and there you go. So they'll check out that replay of the Flex. Also, Corey Mose was on. Man, Corey Mose hanging out. The best dressed man in Austin media, period. I mean, every time I see him, he is well dressed. And I can't say overdressed. He is well dressed. Remember, nobody's overdressed, nobody's overeducated, and nobody's overqualified.
Don't hurt him.
Yes.
Don't hurt him, Hammer.
Yeah, come on now. Go check out FLXATX.com. You can go check out replays of those shows. Go to FLXATX on all of your social media platforms.
And since we're going to stay in the Flex area, we still have baseball going on. There's a lot of games going on at the Dale Diamond, a lot of games going on at Dish Falk. We will have head coach in the Hard Knocks Live, head coach JT Blair of the Westlake Chaparrals. Rod, you were talking about superstitions, right? We've had him on 3 weeks in a row.
He was ready, too.
Yeah, he was like, hey, man, when you're ready to go, let's get ready to go. So he's ready. He's going to be on today at 4:30 in the Hard Knocks Live.
I can't wait. Can't wait to congratulate Coach and
no doubt.
Get rub off. Hoping some of that mojo rub off on me, man.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
They've been hot, man. The Westlake Chaps have been hot. I feel like we say that a lot.
Yeah,
all right, we come back. We'll get into a report from Horns 24/7 that Steve Sarkisian might have been tipping his plays. Yes. You know what? I take it back. Not Steve Sarkisian. Coach Steven. This was Coach Steven tipping plays. Sark.
Mistake.
God bless that man. Coach Steven once again rears his ugly head. We'll come back and discuss it right here on Ball Don't Lie. 149 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about my favorite tequila. By now, you guys know it is Hot Cat Tequila. And you guys know what it stands for. It stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila. And the recipe, just as simple, just as brilliant, and just as delicious. It's just cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. And that's why I love it. And you will love it, too. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to love tequila like I do to love Hot Cat Tequila. I had a couple of my neighbors come over last weekend. We had some Hot Cat Tequila, and they told me, I don't like tequila. And I said, hey, You don't have to like tequila, love Hot Cat Tequila. It's just that good. But if you love tequila like me, hey, trust me, it'll turn every event into a party and every party into a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. And once you try Hot Cat, you'll never, ever go back to that old summer whiskey or that cheap tequila you were ordering rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. Turn up your party with Hot Cat Tequila. It's the perfect way to pregame for all the big games, concerts, festivals, or any night on the town with family and friends. It's a perfect way to serve it is cold to make sure you can for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rocks. But visit cattequila.com. That's cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila or to find a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. All right, welcome back. It's Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. I do recognize the song, one of the clues for a new theme Thursday when Patrick the Idea Now plays songs that are supposed to provide clues to Hart and I that lead us to the feature, to the theme, I should say, of New Theme Thursday. All right, Hart, what you got?
Last thing I can say is like best buddies or today's National Best Friend Day.
Hey, today's National Best Friend Day.
That's right.
Well done now.
Golly.
How the hell do you know it's National Best Friend Day?
I know because it's my job to know these
I know.
things.
Why does Hart know that?
Because it popped up and I heard something about it today.
National
So
Best
today is
Friend Day?
National Best, because I also saw a tweet of somebody that hit a home run and they were in the dugout, and they were hugging, and it was like the best friends. The best friends, National Best Friend Day, because they had a home run and they hugged.
National Best Friend Day. Why can't it just be National Friend Day? Why it's got to be
No, it's
Best
got to be
Friend?
your
I'm
best
sure there is a
friend,
National Friends Day, too.
It'll be coming up next.
That's probably a different day. This is National Best Friends
National
Day.
Friends and Best Friends Day.
Yeah. So the first song was with a little help from my friends.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the theme from Friends.
Yes.
And then You're My Best Friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're all songs from
Oh,
God.
okay. Oh, I know what song you're going to play. You're definitely going to play Friends, the hip-hop song. How many of us have them?
Friends. Oh, I don't even think that's on there.
Houdini.
One you can depend on.
You know, it may-
Friends.
Friends
You're
are
not
worth
going to play
one.
Friends. You're not going to play the song called Friends on National Best
Jeez.
Friends Day.
I can tell you because you did not come up on any of my research. I'm trying to find it. No.
How's that possible?
Because I looked because the people who put stuff on websites are white women. That's why.
Or white what?
They're all white women. Every website that has a playlist is white women.
That's the only excuse. I'm like,
That's it.
Houdini made a song called Friends. It's a great chorus, too.
So did Biz Markie.
Oh,
Can't say she's just a friend.
oh, that's good. That's a good one, too. Is that going to be played, Miss Marquis? No.
That's not about best friends. That's about your girl cheating on you.
Hey, she used to be your best friend. Sometimes cheat on you with one of your friends. That's happened, too. And you're like, oh, that sucks. All right,
That's terrible, people.
National Best
National
Friend
Best
Day.
Friend Day,
Okay.
yep.
It's one of those days, one of those holidays. It's kind of like 420 and like Valentine's Day. That if you are like Valentine's is for lovers, right? But if you're real lovers, you do that all the time.
Yes.
Like we
Earth
express
Day.
our love all exactly. If
Earth
you're a
Day.
real smoker, 420 ain't nothing. It should be nothing to you. Cause you get down every day.
It's like St. Patrick's Day, right? If you drink, you drink.
You don't date and celebrate. Like, no, I do this every day. Every
don't-
day is
don't-
420 for me.
Don't disparage the day where I get free drinks.
Yeah, so that's how I
That's
feel
a
about
great point. That's a great point.
Your real best friends, National Best Friend Day shouldn't be a thing. You best friends
No,
all the
but
time.
look, none of these should be a thing. They're all just made up weird holidays.
They are
It
made
just
up
happens to me.
holidays.
Look, every single day when I'm looking up stuff to be like, oh, what can we play? There's like 45 days it is every day. Like it's National Thomas Day or something like that. Like there's just weird days that somebody made them a day.
Thomas
Thomas
Day.
the Train. Make it Thomas the Train.
I wonder what it takes to make up one of these holidays. Like, could we come up with a holiday? Our show, could we come up with a holiday?
Oh,
Could we come
yeah.
up with a ball don't lie holiday?
Easily.
Just make up something
Yeah.
and get it out there in the Twitterverse, in the pop culture. And somehow one day we hear about, it's National Ball Don't Lie Day. And you're like, what the hell is that? It's like, whoa, we made it happen.
We got wristbands.
Yeah, exactly. All
Gene
right.
Wallace comes after us.
Yeah, because too big of a deal. It's like, hey, man, I stay with that. I got copyright on it. All right, we'll get to some more discussion about a new theme Thursday now that we know what the theme is. It's all about National Best Friend Day. Thanks, my man Patrick. You can always reach out on Specs Text on 512-337-3776. We have head coach JT Blair of Westlake Baseball coming on and at 4:30 for Hard Knock Life. So we're really looking forward to that. All right, gentlemen, Homes 24/7. I believe it's my man Chip Brown, his insider piece.
See, breezy.
Yeah, which does a good job. Yeah, you worked for many years with Chip Brown. Chip Brown, good friend of all of ours, and he does a good job. He's breaking stories, always looking for the news, man. Looking for the news.
Yes,
a lot of it, the Longhorns don't want him to report, but he reports it anyway. He's reporting in his insider piece that Steve Sarkisian is changing all of the signals and the ways the plays are signaled to the players from the sideline. Quote from the article, all of the cards that have been used and all the signals from the sidelines are completely being changed out. Sark got word that teams were onto his signals. So the last several meetings and player-coach practices have been dedicated to learning the new signals for the players. This has all just begun, so it's like learning a new language in a lot of ways because there's a lot of information coming in from the sideline for each position group to process. A player's ability to pick up these new signals is playing a big role in some of their ability to break into the too deep right now. The source also told Chip Brown that there were certain games, including last year's matchup against Alabama, and UT's home game against TCU, when it seemed like the other teams knew what play was coming. He said the new assistants, Paul Chris, Payam Sadat, and Joe DeCamillis, looked at last year's games and confirmed concerns that opponents might have known Texas signals, the source said. He says getting the new signals down have been a huge priority for the two deep. Everything these players have known in terms of the ways the players will communicate the last two seasons has changed. That is the report from the inside piece over at Horns 24/7. Okay, so just a couple of things before we start breaking this down. I don't know. I'm going to start reaching out to try to find out how often coaches change their signals because I do not know how often it happens.
Right.
But I will say it is something that's, of course, in the head coach's purview, especially he's being a play caller. And with all the turnover, just turnover period, whether you're talking about coaches or players in the transfer portal era, just because of coaches leaving your staff, now you got a lot of assistants, right? You got a lot of assistants that come on your staff, assistants to the head coach. You got a lot of you're building up all of your support staff. And that's all coaches. They're support staff, analysts, you're talking about scores of people that come in and out of your program that know the plays, that know the signals, and then they leave and they go where? To another coaching staff because they're climbing the ladder.
Not only that, they also got buddies on the other teams as well.
And then you got players via the transfer portal that are leaving via the transfer portal, going to other schools, even in your conference.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that it happens more frequently, but apparently it does not. And in addition to that, the turnover, which is frequent in college football now because the staffs are so huge, support staff so big, you have so many people coming in and out of your program, hard to keep a lot of secrecy, but also hard opposing film study. After about 2 years, teams are watching. They got literally have these support staff guys, analysts that are in rooms watching your plays for hours over and over and over again. And yes, sometimes they are watching the sideline as well to try to see if they can pick up tendencies and they can pick up some type of tip that will give them a hint to exactly what you're doing. So my thought is this would have been happening, I don't know, ever so often, periodically anyway.
I think it might have already.
It has to.
I mean, if you're not trying to steal signs, you're not doing your job. I'm going to be 1,000% honest. If you are not looking at you come in here every single week and tell us how to beat a team. Every single week. You work here. Mm-hmm. So the people that are actually getting paid to do that should be doing just that. They should be breaking down when he comes out and he does the pew, pew sound. Be prepared for him to throw a stop route. If he comes out and he brings in a guy and he does two hands and they hold up the sign that says 104.9 the horn, that means they're going to run a two-back set.
Yeah.
There's certain things that always happen. I'm that guy that I'm always looking at the sideline, the dugout, the third base coach, whatever's going on by the coaching staff on the basketball court. How are they talking? I'm that dude. I'm always trying to figure out something. I don't know how many times I've been at a baseball game, even high school baseball games here recently, where I'm like, this guy's tipping his pitches already. Yeah. You know why? Because I look for stuff like that.
And baseball's culture is a culture of trying to steal signals.
Absolutely.
Sometimes illegally or outside the rules, but it's always been for a century plus.
Exactly.
It's about trying to steal the opposing signals. And I think there's that culture in almost every sport. And we've heard of examples of this, right? Even probably the most famous example is the Super Bowl when Rich Gannon wins the MVP.
Yes.
And the Raiders are playing the Bucs. I believe it's at 37. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's 37 around there, something like that. And John Gruden was traded to the Bucs, and the Bucs made it to the Super Bowl, his first year trade there, and Bill Callahan was the coach of the Oakland Raiders.
Yes.
And Rich Gannon won the MVP award, running the same offense with the same plays that he ran under John Gruden. When John Gruden went to the Bucs, he told him, he said, hey, man, it might not happen, but just in case they're not changing the hand signals, they're not changing the signals, these are my signals that me and Rich Gannon had when I was coaching the Raiders. Yep. And they got to the Super Bowl, and turns out they didn't change the signals, and they were shocked.
Yes,
they were like, they didn't change the signals, guys. It's the same signals that we ran when I was the head coach, and that's how they blew him out. We throw 5 interceptions in that game or something like that.
It goes back to your situation too at the Cotton Bowl with the dummy script.
The dummy script.
They dropped it. He comes in and he changes everything. And y'all, before you know it, y'all are like, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah,
Because this ain't the script.
They
that we
expected
thought.
us to steal Zeke. They used it against us.
Right. They're like, oh, yeah, they're going to think that they got this. We're going complete opposite.
Got down double digits.
See, they're quick.
I talked about this the other day. That was the finals with the Spurs sweeping the Cleveland Cavs. Mike Brown used the Spurs playbook.
Yes, you did. You brought
It's
that up
and it was
yesterday.
just the Spurs like, yeah, we know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Those are our plays.
Yeah.
We all practiced these last year.
Right.
And I wonder, like, how deep into the the series or the competition that the opposing coach goes. I would love to hear the NFL films because I know they have the sound of like Mike Tom, the guys on that staff figuring out. No, it's just guys. It's the same signals. Over the Spurs figured out. God, they're running the same plays that
And they're calling it.
and they're calling the same.
They're calling the same thing.
You're calling it the same
No,
exact
and
thing.
because the Spurs were the worst just because they're like all the players knew it. Because it wasn't just, hey, coach teaching you, hey, when they do this, it's like, we literally know. So as soon as any of us hear it, we immediately know what's happening.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to be, overly critical of Sark because we've just gave you examples of it happening at the highest level. So it does happen.
Yeah, for
Teams,
sure.
They just don't do it. I do think it's a little irresponsible. I mean, you know what I mean? To not consider that, it's like, man, of course you have to change that periodically. And if that cost you a couple of wins last year, then that's definitely an indictment on you as a coach. Now, keep in mind, Sark has only been a head coach for about, I think, 10 years or something. And he's a head coach and a play caller, so that's a lot on his plate. And he's been a play caller and offensive coordinator for like 15 years. So my point is, how often, I would love to ask him, how often have you changed the signals?
Yeah.
In your 15 years of play caller and or head coach, how often have you changed your signals?
It goes back to
Because
what
I
we
think you should be
talked about.
changing it
Every year.
Every year.
Especially when you're in the same conference and you're going against the same teams every single year. That's why I was always saying if you can coach, you can coach. And you got to be able to change along the way and tell the kids, hey, it's still the same thing. You just got to change how you deliver it.
Yeah, your packaging,
Yes.
your presentation.
Your presentation is all it is. It's the same thing.
Everybody's
That's
running
why
the same place. Everybody's running the same place.
Exactly, and that's why it drives me nuts when they
Make it
come
look
in
different.
X, Y, Z to the left, and all. I'm like, just tell them, hey, we're gonna go hot right here, and everybody knows because we practiced the entire time. Hot means I'm gonna block down. You're gonna come this way. It doesn't have to be X on X, Y to the left, and all the crazy Y banana that John Gruden was calling out.
You can just say Omaha every time.
Exactly. And you can say it a different inflection. Omaha. 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 It's
there's
different.
definitely a new way, a new age of thinking where you don't have to have, the offense be so convoluted and the terminology and it all be such a labyrinth, right, to try to decipher and understand. Lincoln Riley, famously, people see him as play calling sheet and it's like a piece of paper folded up.
Yep.
And that's kind of the new age that you shouldn't need that much of an expansive playbook available to you. You should be able to break it down, run just your key plays, your money plays, and just present them in different packages and present them in different ways. But either way, I think it's really interesting because they're saying the TCU game, this might have cost Tech TCU game. Here's my, and I almost feel like the coaches want this out there. This is my conspiracy.
Come on, bring it, because I'm with you.
That Coach Steven and the coaches want this out there, so that we'll all go. You know what? The reason they lost those games, he was tipping his pitches, tipping his plays. That's why. And we forget that he gave Bijan the ball 12 damn times versus TCU. You mean that's tipping your plays is why you gave Bijan the ball 12 times?
Exactly.
That's what. I didn't realize that's what happened. So tipping plays that forces you to give the ball to your best player only 12 times in the biggest game of the season.
Yep.
And you're like, what? No. The tipping plays does not, in my opinion, right, it does not excuse him from throwing the ball to a guy with a broken hand in double coverage. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know you're like, well, that was tipping plays. Why do you know? Well, why would you do that broken hand? Well, you keep throwing it. I keep dropping
They're
passes.
like, yeah, go ahead, throw it to him.
That was tipping plays. Oh, really? He tipping his hand that it was broken. Dude probably hit him at the line of scrimmage, and he was like, ow. And he's like, what happened? He's like, my hand broke. Like, oh, his hand's broke, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just does not excuse
I love it.
a lot of the play calling malpractice and the lack of adjustments in the second half. It's a great sign that they're self-scouting to this extent. Great that they found it. But there are things in games we saw, ladies and gentlemen, you all remember, ain't got nothing to do with your plays being tipped.
Exactly. That's the
Bad damn coaching is what it was.
That's
sometimes.
when you gave him his other name. So
Hey,
I'm
and
with you
yeah,
on that.
exactly.
That's
And
right.
the good
Coach
news is,
Steven.
the good news is for Sark, he may not know this because he kept his coaches. UT's pretty good about learning new languages because they've had fired a coach and hired a new coordinator basically every single year.
Yeah.
Leading
They
up to
can
him being
adjust
here.
pretty doggone quick.
That is very true. Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're used to learning new stuff in
And
Texas.
unfortunately, you're right about that for the guys. That has been the case. But like I said, I'm glad they found it. But man, I just wonder how often this happens for coaches. Like I said, I haven't done enough research and asked coaches, like, how often are you changing your plays? I imagine now it happens more than it did back in the day. But we just gave you numerous examples of it happening at the highest levels. There's even and I think one of the texters here, actually, Kirk Beasley, actually referenced it too. In 2004, I believe Greg Robinson was the co-DC, and Major Apple tells a story about him where he was he walked in on Greg Robinson one day, like just had his ear essentially to the television screen, and he was revealed basically he came upon the knowledge that Texas Tech had changed their signals.
Right.
They basically were using the same signals that they had used when they played them before, and they had all that knowledge, and they think Texas has been like 51-21 or something like that. But it happens. I mean, I don't know how often coaches are changing their signals in the place.
But they should. As you said, you should be doing it more often than not.
You should put a system in play because baseball has these fail-safes already because there's been such a culture of stealing plays and tipping pitches and trying to steal signs and that kind of stuff. So there's a culture in place where you guys have almost misinformation and disinformation fail-safe. Where we're trying to give you fake information.
Exactly.
Or too much information.
That's
so you
why
don't know
they
what
have
to do with it.
multiple signals.
Yeah,
like now, they got those little robots on their arms where they're just calling it in like that. That may be something too that you got to go to. You might have to just call it on a mic. You just talk into your speaker and have it in his ear. Do college quarterbacks have that in their ear? I don't think they have to. Yes, because I see them doing it all the time.
Yeah, you could just go that route.
Go that route.
Yeah.
What is all the fakeness?
The NFL goes that route.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah, signal it in real quick by run the dang ball. Give the ball to Bijan. Put some Bijan on it.
Give it to him more than 12 times versus TCU. How about that? More than
And
12 touches.
don't throw to the guy with the broken hand.
And don't throw to the guy with the broken hand. And 0 targets versus TCU. Those tipping plays is what that happened. I didn't realize tipping plays influenced your play calling to that extent. Come on, man. I you know what my theory is? They wanted this out there. They leaked this out there. Like, no, get this out there because then they'll understand that we're improving as a squad. But also the reason we lost those games, we were tipping plays and we didn't even know it. Man, if we didn't know that, we'd have won 11 games last year. Okay. I mean,
I love it.
Don't be the Dodgers.
It's one of the it was a factor in them losing the games, but it wasn't the reason they lost them games.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It's not.
It's not. And I think they want us to think that's the reason they lost them games.
That seems fair.
Right?
That seems fair.
Come on now.
Let's throw the sin off of
Throw
them.
the sin off.
Throw the sin off
You
of
was
them.
throwing to a one-handed man out there. You know what I
And
mean?
they knew where it was going.
They knew where it was going. And you kept throwing deep. That's why you kept throwing deep? Because they knew the plays? Oh, they think we go. Oh, they know the plays. They think we're going to run short here. They think we're going to run away beach. I'm going to throw it deep.
Is that tip plays? He walked out on the field. He's throwing deep.
That's not timid plays.
Yeah.
That's your character as a coach. And you said again, you said, we're going to keep throwing deep. We need them deep balls to work. We will keep throwing it deep. Like, you just telling everybody you're going to throw it deep.
So that's not going to hurt you.
That's not tipping plays.
Yeah.
That's just called doing research.
Exactly.
Just doing by due
Letting
diligence.
them know.
Oh, man. Coach Steven. Okay, what you got coming up at Harsh Knock Life?
We got the head coach of the Westlake Chaparrals, JT Blair, as they prepare to take on Pearland for the state semifinal for a right to play in the state championship on Saturday.
You know what I'm going to ask him about?
What?
Tipping pitches.
There you go.
And tipping plays, steal signals. I'm going to ask him about it. We'll bring up the Sark stuff. Sorry, the Coach Steven story. All right, we come back right here. Harsh Knock Life on the side, right here on Ball Line 104.9 More. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rob Babers here. As I get a little bit older, hopefully I'm getting a little bit wiser, and as I get wiser and older, I realize some things I'm ready to leave in the past, y'all, like council culture, social distancing, even the Big 12. Aren't we already leave the Big 12 behind? But one thing I'll never leave in the past is my favorite beer, the world's favorite light beer. That's Bud Light. I've been drinking Bud Light for a long time, since my days on the 40 acres down on Dirty 6th Street. When I was balling in the NFL, I was still a player, still drinking Bud Light. Nowadays, hey, now that I'm a little bit older, now I reward myself after a long, hard day, decompress with a little Bud Light, or I pop the top after doing some yard work on a nice ice-cold Bud Light. Still my go-to beer for my Longhorn Saturday tailgates, but also my NFL Sundays. So whether you want to toast and cheers to a brighter tomorrow or drown your sorrows, it's never a bad time to break out the Bud Light. Bud Light isn't just for anybody, it's for everybody, and the best way to get them good times going is to keep that Bud Light flowing. It's the sure sign of a good time because it will turn those good times into great times, and the rest of the times, they become the best of times. You be the life of the party, just bring that Bud Light to party because it is my choice, it's the world's choice, and Bud Light is brewed deep in the heart and proud of it.
Welcome back to a New Theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie, National Best Friends Day. That's what it's all about, National Best Friends Day edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's your boy Hardball Hard. You can follow me at Hardball Hard. You can follow my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers. And, of course, you can follow the man behind the glass at It's Patrick Davis. We also love it when you're a part of the show. Hit us up on Specs text line 512-337-3776. And joining us right now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline is a man that has been on for the last 3 weeks. And, Rod, you know that superstitions run in baseball, and it is time to have that conversation one more time as they get ready. The Westlake Chaparrals get ready to play for a state semifinals matchup against Pearland Oilers out of the Houston area. It's our man, Coach J.T. Blair. Coach, how you doing?
What's up, Coach?
What's up, guys? Y'all doing all right?
We're doing all
great,
right.
Coach.
We're doing all right.
Oh, yeah.
So my man Rob Babers.
You know, that's always good to be back with Hardball and Rod.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, appreciate you coming on, Coach. We know now, man, we're a part of that, that superstition streak going on, too. Those y'all keep on winning, man. You're going to keep on coming on.
And that's the good thing. Rod was talking about this just a little while ago. So there's a story that came out that the University of Texas has been they were so-called tipping their plays, and their hand signals were all the same. So other teams were picking up the pitch, or not pitches, but picking up the signals. And Rod had a question for you kind of about that type of situation when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, I just want to know, Coach, what do you do to, to basically try to keep your signals and keep all your plays? How do you try to keep that, discreet? Do you change up your signals every so often, periodically, or do you put out?
We've got pick some, we changed the keys, changed stuff like that, but we've got pick some in the playoffs, and I know that our signs are floating around and people have gotten them. So we've gone to a wristband this week.
Oh.
So we're not going to get picked this week. We're going to wristband.
See,
Nice.
that's what it's all about, trying to stay ahead of the game,
Coach.
doing
Like
the
that.
research, finding it out. That's what we like to hear. So now we're getting ready to face Pearland, one of the better teams in the state. Obviously, when you get to the Final Four, it is no room for error. What have you seen for Pearland so far by watching film?
This is a good team. Pitching's their strength. They got a big righty that's committed to Arizona State. They got a left-handed that's committed to A&M. I mean, they got dudes upon dudes on the mound. So, and besides that, they're a good defensive team, right? They're going to play a little bit small ball. They got about 3 guys in hit in their lineup. They really swing the bat well. So, we've just been getting our guys ready all week, and the hay's in the barn, guys. We're prepared. We're ready to roll now.
It's funny that you say that. Rod had said that earlier about another situation. He was like, it's already there, man. The hay is in the barn. We just got to go over there and just make it happen. So through 44 games this year, by the way, you won 40 games, which is the most in the nation. I don't know if you knew that, Coach. The most wins in the nation.
That's unbelievable.
And, you just a school record, obviously. But in 44 games, you guys have scored 334 runs, 52 runs in the playoffs. And you start looking at how you got here. You see the games between Vandegrift, then you played Brandeis, then you went through Round Rock, Eagle Pass, and then San Antonio Johnson. And now for you to get to that ultimate pinnacle, you have one more step before you can play in the state championship game against Pearland. What has this meant to Westlake Nation as a whole when you start looking at it? Because we talked about this before. Basketball teams have been playing for state championship. Football, obviously, is in. You got track guys that are doing really, really well. And now the baseball team has an opportunity to do something special as well.
Hey, don't get me wrong here. The 746 likes winners. Okay? Like, there's some expectations, and we're going to be good at every – I'm talking about it doesn't matter. The robotic team's going to win, right? I mean, the band's going to win. The cheerleader's going to win. The baseball team better win, too. And we kind of feel like we're on equal footing with everybody, and we're proud to be there. Westlake Nation, they're going to back you. They want you to win. They expect you to win. But, man, when you get rolling, look out. They're going to back you.
Yeah, and that's what it's been all about. I got a chance to come out to the game against Johnson. That was Friday night. Lots and lots of people there. You talked about the fact that you were going to have extended bleachers out there. I saw all of them full. I do get it. And I know that's what you guys are going to be trying to do at the Dale Diamond this week. Tomorrow night, first game, first pitch is at 7 o'clock. I know you guys are having a big send-off tomorrow at 3 o'clock from the field house. And then you're going to be able to have a big party over their pregame, because I know that's one thing Westlake folks like to do. Y'all like to party a little bit. But I wanted to ask you this, as you start to look at some of the key personnel on your squad. You know, you've got some guys that you pulled out. Shapiro, you got him to come out in a big hit situation. Aiden Bennett. Blake Peterson had a great game on Friday night. Big push. But your pitching, it goes back to your pitching as well. You were talking about how, you know, they have big guys over there that they lean on. You have guys, you got a whole stable of pitchers that you're looking to extend throughout this. And one thing that I loved about your team so far is every time I've got a chance to watch you play, you guys play solid defense. Talk a little bit about your defense and what Ben Longoria behind the plate has done an unbelievable job of controlling the tempo of the game, and you've had clutch hits throughout.
You know, you look at guys like Ben Longoria behind the plate, Aiden Bennett at shortstop and at third base. We bring Joe Stockwell in there to play some third base every once in a while. And, of course, we just got Theo back. Theo played second base last Friday night. So, I mean, Sage Sanders has been our first baseman pretty much the whole year, done a great job there. I mean, you look at the outfield, Isaac Beeler in center field is going to run down every ball. And then we've had Shapiro out there. We've had Bray Babb out there.
Who made a great throw at home the other day.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, we're going to play solid defense. And that's been our calling card all year. We're going to pitch. We're going to throw strikes. We're going to play defense. And then we're going to execute offensively. And I think that's the key here. You know, this is going to be a good game tomorrow night. You know, we've been playing 3-game series. And now, you know, you're condensing this thing into a Final Four, and it's a 1-game deal, and you're going in there, and that's how we're looking at it. It's a 1-game season, and we're playing it that way.
Coach, we're talking to Coach J.T. Blair, head coach of the Westlake Chaparrals, as they prepare to play in the UIL Texas Baseball State Championship semifinal against one of the best teams in the state as well, Pearland. They're 37-6-1. And you just brought up the fact, too, about the 1-game playoff now. It is turned into that. You've had series up until this point, and when you become part of the Final Four, it's just a one and done. How do you approach that mentally, and how do your players approach that mentally? Because there, like Rocky said, there is no tomorrow.
That's right. We've been saying all year, there's no tomorrow. We're burning the boats. We're going to burn the boats on this deal. We're going everything we got is going to be on the field tomorrow night. We're going to pull out all the stops, and we're going all out to win this game. I mean, burn the boats, baby. That's been our mantra all year, and you know, our guys are used to that. And we've been in a 3-game situation already with Round Rock. We've had our backs against the wall. I mean, we're approaching it very similar to Game 2 after we got beat at Round Rock in Game 1. You know, so Game 2 was a must-win game. So we're approaching it very similar to that. And our guys have been in this position before. And, a lot of experience, and here we go. Let's go, man. Let's get it rolling.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys. I mean, you're the last local team standing, and what better way to culminate your baseball season than to have a dog pile at the Dale Diamond. But there's one more step before you can get there. Coach, tell everybody where y'all are going to be leaving from tomorrow. And I know you want the 746 to get over there and party up.
The Hills, baby. The Hills are going to empty out. 746 is going to be there. So tomorrow night we're going to be, or tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m., right behind the stadium, the football stadium scoreboard. So kind of in that shop court area. All the Westlake people know exactly where that is, and we're excited. Our kids are excited. Our community is excited, and we're ready to go.
As somebody who's close to a lot of those parents over there, I couldn't be prouder because I know a lot of those kids since they were little kids, and now they're having a chance to do that. So best of luck to you guys, and hopefully next week we have you on talking about a state championship.
Would love that, guys. Would love it. I appreciate you guys, and hey, I'm P1. I'm a listener. So, hey, man, let's go. Let's go.
Hey,
appreciate it, man.
Looking forward to talking to you next week, Coach.
That's right, Coach.
That's right.
Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Mike. See you guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, good luck, Coach.
There he is, head coach of the Westlake Chaparrals.
I love that he admitted that they tipped some pitches.
Yeah.
Because it's such a part of baseball.
It is.
It's like no shame or embarrassment in baseball. It's
You
like
just got to be slick about it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Don't blatantly, like, if there used to be times where guys were on second base and they would signal in to the catcher, to the batter, like, ball's going to be inside, ball's going to be outside, he's going to throw a fastball. They were using little hand signals and all that other stuff. There's so many things that go into it, but the fact that he's aware that the rumor is that
it's getting around. The signs are getting
around.
So
now let's change it up a little bit.
Yeah, now they're just going to wristbands for this round.
That's what Coach Pierce is. Coach Pierce has wristbands. They got colors and numbers and everything.
Honestly, when you're going up against elite competition, great coaching staffs, maybe it's something you can only avoid to a certain extent.
Yep.
And they're going to get when you have certain amount of a sample size of film on teams that maybe if they are observant enough, they're going to be able to find a trend. They're going to be able to find connection between your plays or at least the pitches and some of your signs, and you got to have a fail safe in place.
You have to. You have to, always.
No, that was a good conversation from Coach, and we appreciate his time. And then somebody on the Specs text line did tell me to mention that Drew Brees gave him a shout-out.
Yeah.
About Westlake baseball.
Drew Brees, Calvin Schiraldi, bunch of former players. I saw Cade Klubnik gave them a shout-out as well. So
yeah, the Westlake fam rolls deep.
They roll very deep.
They roll deep.
Like he said, they try to win in robotics.
They try to win every damn thing. And they support. They do, man. They support in mass. So we appreciate Coach coming on, too. And hopefully we'll be talking to Coach next week.
Hopefully.
That's what we're hoping. All right. And playing Pearland, right?
Pearland Oilers, man. Guess who's from Pearland? Corey Moe.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I knew he was from somewhere in the H-Town area. I don't think I knew he was from Pearland, though.
Yeah, my sister-in-law.
My brother lives in Pearland, so Pearland's blowing up, man.
My sister-in-law's brother is the head soccer coach at Pearland as well. So I saw him last weekend. And the girls just won the girls state championship last weekend.
Yeah, and I got a cousin that actually plays football for Pearland too. I think he's just a sophomore. It's a lot of connections to Pearland. So I'm rooting for Westlake though. Don't get upset, folks. I don't like giving a lot of Pearland. It's love there. I didn't go to Pearland. So
Yeah, that's right. You don't care if the Oilers win. It's only the Houston Oilers for me.
Yeah. Shoot, I actually lived in the 746 longer than I lived in Pearland.
Hello.
Hey, I lived in area code for a little minute, man. Lived in there. All right, so the zip code for a little minute. All right, we come back. We'll get into the off the record on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie, 101 Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. We remember the salacious gossip story from yesterday about Zion Williamson and his the gender reveal for his the child that he's expecting, because I think he's expecting a girl, so congrats to him. And he and his woman, baby mama, whatever, they put it on social media, so they're very proud, as well they should be, of having a child together. But one of his alleged side pieces, Mariah Mills, who's a self-described ex-porn star, she came out on social media and outed him as, hey, I know y'all are about to have a kid, but basically me and him been having relations as recently as last week. And then she put out the receipts. She put out all the receipts via text message about Zion texting her and trying to arrange her to move to New Orleans, and he was going to buy her a place, how much money she needed, all that. She revealed the receipts, so spoiled a little bit of Zion's news. There's another one now that's also in the mix, too. She's putting out receipts. She claims that her and Zion had some relationship, too. Yeah. She said, this ain't got nothing to do with clout. I got my own money in real life and never been a proxy or sold my body. Outside of the, I'm not gonna read all that. She does say that basically, she did not let him record her, and that's why she was not one of his favorites, and he did not. I guess she didn't get her promised Richard Emilie. Is how you say the watch, like the Emilie, and a Bentayga. I have no idea what this stuff is, but apparently really expensive stuff. So she wants to out him too, and she's claiming they also were getting it on. But she says she admits, like, I wasn't one of his favorites because I don't let him just do what he wants to do, include film her.
Well, my one question
She also, I never gave you a menage a trois, and you were upset about that.
Man, Zion, boy,
She said, I never gave you a threesome, never had an OnlyFans account or was on Pornhub, so I guess I was all play. I probably never had a chance.
And I got my own loot.
She said, you're a nasty sex addict. She says this, she said, you're a nasty sex addict.
Oh, my gosh.
So, he's got to be a little bit more selective in the ladies that he's choosing
He's not
to
choosing
hang
well.
out with. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you for, being a philanderer. That's your business, but you need to be a little more selective in the ladies you're choosing. Because if they're outing you now after this news,
You've done some bad things to him.
Yeah, you treated them poorly, but also you chose some straight up thoughts.
That was what was said
and
yesterday.
Skanks.
There was one of them that said that.
And they're proud of it.
They're very proud of it.
Yeah.
But the purposeful outing is the thing that is always disturbing part. Because you said you're not doing it for clout, you're not doing it for this, but you're putting it in social media and making sure that everyone knows that you are part of his process as well.
Woman scorned, though. That's all it's been. That's
she said she ain't want nothing from him.
Tell us all this time. No, still don't mean she's not hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, probably lied to her. Didn't tell her about him getting another one pregnant and being a baby daddy. That information was probably not in the cards.
Was not part of
it. It was not revealed while he was trying to seduce her.
Yeah.
So I think these women are just upset because when you see a gender reveal for a guy you've been having sex with, allegedly, on social media, you probably feel a certain way about it. Now, should you feel a certain way if you're not the main thing and you're a side piece? Probably not.
Yeah,
but
you knew the deal.
That's, I can't tell you. That's from, I don't know how serious things were, but she had, Mariah Mills, the ex-porn star, she had receipts. This other woman doesn't have receipts, so I don't know if her story is as believable. The other woman, she tweeted out text messages. At this point,
everybody believing that Zion got problems.
Yeah.
Well, not problems, but because it's good for him. But
he's got 99 problems, and women are a lot of them.
Let me ask you this. A few of them. How many do you think he's been with more women or played in more NBA games?
I think he's been with more women.
Way more women.
That's
way more women.
Me and Rod didn't even hesitate on that one.
That's pretty sad after a 4-year career. But, I mean, he's played in like 114 games.
Yeah.
I think he's been with
4 years.
I'm telling you, as an NBA player, you can put up some really big-time numbers.
Here's the problem,
off the court.
Here's the problem. He's not going on the road because he ain't traveling with the team because he's always hurt. So he's got to put all these numbers up in New Orleans.
Yeah, but he probably
No, he travels sometimes. He travels sometimes. Because he's the one that's got a lot of free time. He
does have a lot of free
He could
time.
go out there and scout the city for you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
he's finding the spot.
22 years old.
22 years old.
Well,
and not even getting a chance. He ain't even been on the
think-
court.
and one is older too. His baby mama's a little
30.
older.
Do you
Yeah,
think
she's 30? She's 30.
Do you think that when his chick's like, "Hey, we should post this gender reveal on social media," he's like, "Nah, we probably, you know what? Let's keep this between us. We don't need to be."
Well,
putting
it's on her social media. To be fair, he didn't put it on his.
Yeah,
it was
he's
on
like, "Let's
her,
just
and everybody
keep it-
found it.
Oh, let's just keep this low key. We don't need to try. Oh, now I'm not worried about nothing, but don't do it.
Hey, she's obviously got a lot of influence because it's like a produced gender reveal.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like
Well, it's clear he doesn't have any problem
pretty
spending money.
professional. Yeah, I'm saying but he didn't put it on his page, so I agree with your theory that he didn't want to publicize it, but he didn't say no. He could have just said no.
He
He
could
could
have
have said no. I'm not doing that.
don't tag
No.
me. Hey,
He
don't tag me.
He could have said simply, I'm not. He could have said simply, I'm not doing it. But
That is
him being in it is what made it go viral. People found it because people basically have like Google alerts and everything for him, and people are like, oh, that must be his baby mama.
That's another
Because he's in the gender reveal video.
That's another 6'10", 300-pound black man. That's a baby face is in that video. That's not me at all.
So he's proud. That's what he should be. He's about to be a father. He's proud of it. But I'm with Patrick. If you knew you were doing this much dirt, you probably should just say, you know what? I'm gonna have to fight with her. No, we ain't doing that. I don't want to do it. And to have the fight with her because it's probably this is not worth it. This stuff getting out is not. Well, you should have. Then you could have ended those other ones and then try to pay them off. Basically,
Yep.
I know that sounds a little deceptive and duplicitous, but yeah, pay them off and say, hey, pay them off. Get a lawyer to break out an NDA for you. Say, can you sign this for me? I'll give you 50 G's. 100 G's, whatever you want. I'll give it to you. Can you sign this? And that's how business is done. When you are a brand in yourself, you know what I mean? You're not a businessman. You're a business man.
And now,
Exactly.
and now he gets to go home and try and pretend like that's the only two. Also,
Exactly.
no, but it's only them two.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so true.
Those are the only two that I know,
the
man.
only time it happened, and it happened one time, by the way. One time.
Yeah, that was the only time I saw.
Yeah, one
I
time.
had a
but you-
moment of weakness.
Yep. Yep.
That is so true. That's what the cheaters always have to. They got to live with that. That's a tough one. That's a tough sell. That is a tough sell. That
Wait. So this two come out. Well, that's all you're gonna find because clearly.
I was good to everything else.
everything. Yeah, that's the only time that I was unfaithful.
Yep.
And that's it. It's the only time he came back to bite me. Yeah, that's a really tough sell. It's like Tristan Thompson trying to tell you that. You know,
Yeah.
like, that's the only time it was like, okay, Tristan,
It's like Tristan
you cheated on me when I
Thompson.
was pregnant, dude. Like you know
That
what I
is
mean?
hilarious.
Oh, Tristan's a dirty, dirty dog, but hey, he still gets it in. He gets it in.
For real.
I think she's still trying to rekindle something with him too. It's probably for the show though.
It's
Probably more
definitely for the show.
He's good for the show.
Definitely
Hey, and
for the
LeBron
show.
likes him. He still got a job.
And he probably
He'll
get
get
another
checks.
one like next year.
Friend of LeBron.
Hey, you know why LeBron? He's like, makes me look good. I'm home at 1 a.m. and she's like, what were you doing? And you were like, I'm trying to get Tristan out of there. He's a fool. He got home at 5 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, every crew's got that guy. Yeah. Every crew's got a fall guy. It's like, hey man, I got to tell why. And every woman in that, every significant other of every guy in that group hates the fall guy. Because he's lied about, and all the people talk. If you blame everything on, oh, we're out late because of him. He got wasted, so I had to take him home. And he's like, dude, I'm just.
Why were you with that girl? I was with Holder because of him.
Because of
Because of
him.
him. He brought her.
I didn't want her to have to walk home,
Yeah.
so I had to drive both of them around. You know what I mean? They were both wasted. They couldn't even find their phone. Yeah, you was making up stuff. The lie gets deeper and deeper, and then you got to call him and explain to him the lie and how deep it is. Oh, the fall guy.
The
All right.
fall guy.
Hey, fall guys out there, we love you guys, man. Yeah, a lot of us would be single if not for you fall guys out there. All right, we come right back. We'll get into the NBA playoffs, get into the finals a little bit, dive into the win for Denver Nuggets in Game 3. Big one for them. Also, apparently Dame Lillard has a team that he would like to play for. We'll dive into that too, right here on Ball Don't Lie. If we're not know. Hey, what's up, folks? I'm Top Longhorn Rod Abers here. Austin is a beautiful city. We all love it. We all call it home. And our good friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482, they have a big part in the unique aesthetic beauty of Austin, Texas, because they've been helping shape this city since 1935. You see the layers of their love all over this great city and iconic landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as the city continues to grow and thrive, so do our friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build the office. So if you're looking for an exciting new career, you want something fresh, something new, something that will challenge you and bring out the best version of you, how about becoming a valued member of Ironworkers Local Union 482? You can take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. And right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people. You can be one of these lucky people because they got a huge project happening right here in Central Texas, and they need smart, valuable people to come help them. And right now, all you got to do is reach out at ironworkers482.org, ironworkers482.org, and you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local Union 482. Once again, that's ironworkers482.org, ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. New theme Thursday. That's when the Idillionaire Patrick takes songs, and based on the selections that are played, Harge and I are supposed to gather clues that lead us to the new theme of the day. And it is National Best Friends Day. So all the songs either reference best friends, friendship, or like this, Lean on Me. Almost it's one of the great songs about friendship of any kind.
Yeah.
And title of one of my favorite movies. Love the Lean on Me movie.
Oh, my goodness.
Great movie.
Joe Clark.
Great movie. Yeah, of other movies,
Very side.
of all the movies of them trying to rehabilitate a school of some kind, right? Try to revive a school, and it's always either some minority principal or teacher that comes to the fore. Sometimes not minority, sometimes it's a woman. So honestly, usually minority of some kind. Rarely is it just a white dude. That white dude teach too. That are trying to revive a school that is downtrodden and poverty stricken. And of those themed movies, I would say Lean on Me is my favorite.
Oh, my goodness.
But there are like 10 or 15 of those movies.
Oh, yeah.
It's a ton of those movies out there.
Like Dangerous Minds.
Dangerous Minds, another one. I mean, there's a bunch of them. I mean, you just, I could think of like 4 or 5 of them just off the top of my head. But, it's a good movie. I like it. So there you go. Lean on Me. Also, great song, too. Thanks, my man Patrick, DJing a new theme Thursday.
I also want to touch on the fact that Kirk Dressendorfer, lifetime Longhorn, got his number retired this year. He is a Pearland Oiler. So
I did not know that at all.
We got to make sure we represent our man Kirk Dressendorfer.
Hey, he's a legendary lifetime Longhorn.
That's right.
He's got the legendary status. Got the legendary tag now.
Yeah, he does.
Probably should have had it a long time ago, but we'll
Long
definitely
overdue. Long overdue.
officially start referring to Kirk as legendary lifetime Longhorn. He's earned that privilege. All right, so let's text line wide open. What to say?
This right here. Go ahead. Do
Go
text line.
512-337-3776.
This is the perfect segue to what we were talking about just a minute ago. As a former fall guy, always tell the fall guy when he's being used as the fall guy.
Yes, agreed. Fall guy would appreciate that, ahead of time.
Yes.
Because the fall guy has no problem being
He's
a fall
like,
guy.
huh? What?
Just you gotta tell. And the fall guy usually has to be single.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's been most of the guys in the group end up in relationships, and y'all still want to hang out and kick it. And to hang out and kick it, sometimes you need an excuse
Yes.
to hang out and kick it, and fall guy can be the excuse.
Sometimes you get a phone call or a text from a girl, and you're like, "Do I gotta call him real quick?" And be like, "Hey, bro, why am I getting a phone call?
Are we good? Are we good?
I have no idea what this is about."
No idea what it's about. But yes, you should acknowledge the fall guy, but also let the fall guy know they are the fall guy. And sometimes the fall guy can also be the wingman. Sometimes they have dual responsibilities within the group. Dual duties there, wingman and fall guy. It's a lot.
Which is why they sign up for it.
They sign up. No, they're cool with it.
They sign up for
Usually,
it.
because they get a lot of perks for that. Get a lot of perks for being the fall guy, man. Because everybody owes you. When you're the fall guy, everybody owes you a favor. Everybody in the group owes you a favor. So you need to move. You need furniture move. You need, I need some cash.
You the one with the truck.
Yeah, exactly. You the one with the truck. Whatever it may be. Like, hey, man, don't have me bring up that time that I had to be a fall guy for you, and don't have me tell wifey about it.
I have all the secrets.
Yes, you know where all the bodies are buried. Fall guy knows what you like Ed Hoover. You got all the secrets on everybody, man. You got dirt on people. That's good. All right, let's get to the NBA. NBA is all about dirt, as a matter of fact. Salacious kind. Let's get to the actual NBA Finals, gentlemen. Game 3. I'll give you guys credit. Both of y'all picked the Denver Nuggets in Game 3. Hard, you at the stat. What was it? Winner Game 3?
81%.
Yep.
Win the series.
Yeah, that's a pretty definitive number there. Big number, and that just shows you how big Game 3 was. And it was a game that we all got a chance to be witnesses, essentially, to the greatest performance by a duo in finals history.
Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, that's the best way to describe it. You're talking about Jokic and Murray. How about this stat? So Jokic and Murray combined for 66 points, 31 rebounds, and 20 assists. The Heat starters, all 5 of them, combined for 66 points, 25 rebounds, and only 12 assists. They had as many points and more rebounds and assists than the entire starting 5 of the Miami Heat. That's how dominant Jokic and Murray were. They left, no doubt, first time in the history of the NBA regular season or playoffs where you had 2 players on the same team, teammates, have 30-point triple-doubles. Never, ever happened. So you think to yourself, I've never seen this before. You're right. You've never seen it before. Unprecedented.
That's why it's unusual.
They
You
left
don't see
no
that.
doubt.
Exactly.
I guess they saw that stat, Harsh.
They knew.
81%.
They were like, dial in.
Yeah, and between that and Michael Malone, as you say,
Yep,
you got to call Michael now, because we will call him. Your team plays like that. We're going to call you Michael. All right? Your mama call you Michael. We're going to call you Michael.
We're going to learn to like Michael.
Yeah, he had him motivated. He had been complaining about the way his team had played, even though the series was tied 1-1. He had thought he had gotten poor effort from his team and poor energy from his team in game 2. And even though it was a tight ball game, relatively tight the first half, guys, I thought it was going to be a classic, epic matchup. Watching the first half, we're going back and forth. It's going to be close the whole way. And then the Nuggets decided to pour it on. And by the time we got to the fourth quarter, where usually the Miami Heat make their move, they really didn't have any move to make.
No. They were swimming uphill. They
really
were swimming
were.
uphill,
It was
and it was hard for them.
Yeah, and I mean, they never were able to find that other guy other than Bam and Jimmy to kind of pace them along. Lowry did okay, but all those Gabe
Kyle
Vincent, Caleb Martin,
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson, all those guys weren't shooting lights out.
Nope.
And you need at least one of those, Max Strus, you need one of those guys to just light up so you can kind of go to him and be like, all right, you be the spark plug, and everybody will follow. And they just never found the spark plug.
Yeah, you brought this up yesterday, Patrick, that one of the threats about them is that they have this Miami Heat have this mentality that, hey, anybody can be the guy.
Yeah.
Right? You can be the guy in this moment, Caleb Martin. You can be the guy in this moment, Duncan Robinson. Strus, you can be the guy in this moment. And they definitely didn't have that. And I also give you props, Patrick. We talked about the counter. What was going to be the counter for Miami for Denver in this game on the road. And honestly, it was almost not verbatim what you said, but they was really close to your plan of lead with Murray.
Yep. Yeah.
Lead with Murray, finish with Jokic.
Yep. You got to have that.
But they hadn't done that really because the Miami Heat had been finishing better than the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets were winning quarters 1 through 3. They hadn't been finishing as strong. In this game, they led obviously in quarters 1 through 3. I think they did a good job there. But in the fourth quarter, man, they really choked the life out of Miami, and they did it with Jokic.
Once you got ahead, and at one point they were up by 21.
Yeah.
And they kept putting the pressure on them. But then again, too, I kept talking about the rebounding. They had 45 defensive rebounds. You know what that means? That means that the other team is not getting second chances.
Not at all.
You're taking that away from them. They out-rebounded them 58 total rebounds to 33. That part of it right there means a lot. And
Effort.
the paint. 60 points in the paint to just 34. Bam Adebayo, I got to give him some love. He's been playing well. He's been very aggressive. He's been doing a little bit more. But when you get a guy like the Joker and y'all try to figure out how y'all are going to match up, you got Aaron Gordon, who brought the ball up a bunch yesterday, making you play the entire court. That's big. And then you got your role players, where we talked about it before, for Miami. Miami's role players, if they are on, they got a chance to win. If they are off, they don't have a chance to win because of the matchup. You got to make sure that you have it. But what Denver had yesterday from Christian Brown going out there and doing that, and you brought up the stats about dunks and layups, he was being aggressive, and he had that spurt where they needed a pick-me-up, and he was the perfect guy. Michael Malone made the adjustments that he didn't make in Game 2. He made them in Game 3. Spoelstra, we talked about it before. Game 1, they let Joker be the facilitator. Still got his triple-double. Second game, they didn't. They told him to be the scorer, and he only had 4 assists, and you brought those stats up yesterday about how when he was making the passes, it didn't account for that many points like it would for the three-point line.
Yep.
Yesterday, they had the perfect solution. Now Spoelstra's going to have to go back to the drawing board and see how they're going to do it. But it goes back to what Patrick was saying. If they don't shoot well from 3, they're not going to be in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, and we saw Michael Malone throw out where it's like, look, if I'm not getting the effort I want out of Michael Porter Jr. and KCP, guess what? Christian Braun and Bruce Brown, Christian Brown and Bruce Brown, they're playing.
Yep.
I'm putting those because they want to play more. They want those minutes. I'm giving them those minutes. And Michael Porter
And
Jr.
they're earning those minutes.
And Michael Porter Jr. did well effort-wise. He just isn't the defensive player he needs to be. So if he can't play offensively, he's a detriment to your team.
And he's off
He
right
was
now.
he was doing okay, help defense, but not great. I will give you a stat that if you're a Miami Heat fan should worry you going forward of the viability of winning 3 out of the next 4 or 3 out of the next 5. They had 4 turnovers in that game.
Yeah.
They had 4
wow.
turnovers and were not in it in the fourth quarter. If you have 4 turnovers in a game, you should at least be in it. Because
You
it
should
means,
be winning.
Because it means you're not giving up the ball. Like, you're getting shots every time down the court. You are getting a shot.
But they shot so poorly, though. They shot 37% from the floor.
But that's what I'm saying is, so if you're playing
really
everything
bad.
else and it is completely 100% reliant on you shooting above average to win this series, that it's not a great game plan to win. That, look, our good defense, we have to play insanely exceptional defense against the best player in the universe and Jamal Murray, who they found a way to get started. What was the stat you gave out picks earlier?
They had 42 ball screens for Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
In that
So
game.
they're if we have a guy
That's
that
crazy.
they know we can jumpstart,
Yeah.
who do we have that we can jumpstart? And that is your answer right there. I need a 50-point game from Jimmy Butler.
He tried. I'll give you a stat about Jimmy Butler to that point. He had 16 first-half field goal attempts, second most in a first half in his career, regular season of playoffs. He tried. I don't know if he's got the playoff
No,
game
he
in
did
him.
LeBron.
And he was
Remember
okay.
LeBron?
He had 28 points, but like you said, you need superhuman him, and you ain't getting that.
No, and he had 2 rebounds and 4 assists. That's the problem. I need triple-double Jimmy, and I need a 50-point, 10-assist, 15-rebound Jimmy. I know that's stupid, but he was doing it last series.
He was. But yeah, like I said, he's been on a decline though.
And
it's
that point of, if I'm Spoelstra, I know you have to get him mad. Like, I get you've got Bruce Banner out there playing, man. Mm-hmm. Get Hulk out there.
I'm with you. If they don't have Jimmy Butler playing at an extraordinarily high level, we're talking about us having the conversation whether he's the best player in the NBA right now or best player in the series kind of stuff. If he's not in that conversation, they got no
your
shot.
other
And your
matchup-
gentleman's sweep thing comes back.
And your big matchup is Bam Adebayo, who played well in the series.
He
shot
played
pretty poorly.
really well.
He shot pretty poorly, but other than that, he's been playing tons of energy, playing as hard as he can out there. But he's going to be a loss at that position, that matchup. He's going to lose it every single game.
Yeah, but at least
Because he's playing against the best player in the world.
At least now the difference isn't like a Grand Canyon size disparity.
You need to win one position lineup, and you did not win one position in that game, did you?
No.
And that's a problem.
dominated.
You need Jimmy Butler to come out and be next level. He has not been offensively or defensively that guy in the series. And without that, that's why Jimmy Butler gets flack when people say he's overrated, because we know what level he can get to, but he can't maintain it. Jamal Murray's had that issue throughout his career as well. So this is a big question of if Jamal Murray can keep it up, that starts to turn his story a little bit.
Oh, no
and
doubt.
Jimmy Butler, again, goes into he's not the guy who can be your best player on a championship team.
No, that's a good point. I agree with that. One other topic before we move on here and get the Raj round of the day. We got to talk about Jokic, guys. I mean, this dude is just a alien. I mean, he's a basketball alien.
Yes.
We've never seen anything like it. He's 30, 20, and 10 triple-double. First player in finals history with a 30, 20, and 10 stat line. Third of his career in the postseason, though.
Mm-hmm.
That is one more. His 3 30, 20, and 10 triple-doubles in the postseason. His 3 of those are one more than the rest of the NBA combined in the history of the league. Kareem and Wilt had 30, 20, and 10 stat lines once each in the postseason. Jokic has done it 3 times and now did it in the finals. 30, 20, and 10. He is, like I said, I hope now he becomes more of a mass. He has more of a mass appeal.
Oh, he's mass, all right.
I know this, and I hope that people who aren't just basketball fans and sports fans, like when you become the best player in your sport, you are supposed to be able to attract fans who are not necessarily fans of that sport. They're just fans of greatness. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll go, I'm not a huge soccer fan, but hell, if Lionel Messi comes to town, I'm going to be one of the people like, can I get up in there?
Yep.
Can I get up in there and watch one of the greatest soccer players in the history of the world? Right? You don't have to like the NBA to want to watch LeBron James play. Right? And you have to like the NFL to want to watch Patrick Mahomes go out there and make magic happen and watch artistry at work. I hope he is starting to have that type of appeal and attraction because there's no doubt he is arguably, I think, maybe the most skilled player in the NBA. The packaging is just so obtuse and unorthodox.
And he's like somebody that looks like you. You know what I'm saying? He's a likable dude.
He is likable. Yes,
You watch the way his teammates interact with him. All he cares, we talk about Jimmy and how he's all I care about is winning. I can take these guys and do this. And that's the same thing Joker's doing. But to your point of what you said about the winning part of it, it's like there's nothing exciting about him. He's not going to wow you with his post-game interviews. He's just going to do, hey, man, all I care about is winning and getting my team involved. They've done a great job. They've done all this. Hey, you're the first person to ever. No, it's okay. It's just a stat to me. All I want to do is go out there and play hard. And the beautiful thing about it is this guy's touch is so unreal. It's like I've watched basketball for a very long time. There's been some beautiful finger rolls by my man George Iceman Gervin. You've seen Dr. J get real close to the basket and throw some things in. Every time he takes a shot, you think he may miss it, but it hits nothing but the bottom of the net, or it bounces around and it just goes down. I heard them
touch, man.
The entire time. And then I heard last night they were talking about him having the ball above his head like Larry Bird. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. Nobody's going to block that. You see it so far back, and he'll throw something up, and it's just like, there's no way did that just go in?
Yeah.
No, I mean, great touch.
His touch, when you look at it, the player you look at is Steph Curry. It's that type of touch around the rim.
It
where
really is.
And when it's another elite player, but that's that type of touch that he has. And when you see it, it's just phenomenal to have that type of body control on a guy that size that you would just never expect, because as much as you can go, it's not athleticism, it's not anything like that, but it is this innate hand-eye coordination and body control that so few – there's more athletic people than people that have that body control.
Right.
So it's that's the thing is there's plenty of people that go, I can run real fast, I can jump real high, but to be able to go, all right, can you with your left and right hand be able to put the ball up like this? Can you stop on a dime and move a different – like, can you do all of those things? They go, well, no, that's harder. You go, yeah. So he doesn't have that athleticism part, but that could be a benefit for him because it means his game doesn't have to change in the next 5-6 years.
It'll age gracefully.
Yeah, because what's he going to do? What's he going to do? Jump lower?
It's a skill. He's a skilled athlete. You're right. Yeah.
So is he going to lose speed in the next few years? Right. What are you worried about for
How
him?
much slower can he get?
Yeah. You're just worried about injuries. But other than that, he has a solid path to be this dominant for years to come.
And I pointed this out because I totally agree with that. It is so weird to see somebody like that size, that mass, that bulk, and like you said, he's like a ballet dancer at times, man. How he can move and how light he is on his feet, but that'd be like a polar bear out there ballet dancing. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But keep in mind, because we're starting to see him peak now. So we're all agreeing he's just peaking now, this peak prime could last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years potentially, even right now still. And Patrick is saying that he's going to age gracefully, so it won't even be a precipitous drop off. We're going to watch him kind of a gradual decline over years. To keep these stats in mind, I brought these up before. This is before the playoffs, before the finals started. This is before the finals. Among players with at least 2,000 career playoff minutes, Jokic ranks 13th in both assists per game and rebounds per game. Remember, I told you guys no other player was in the top 30 of both of those stats. Larry Bird was the closest. Horace just brought him up. He was at 22nd in assists and 32nd in rebounds. And Jokic, by the way, in points per game, 6th among that group with at least 2,000 career playoff minutes. He's averaging close to 27. In these finals, the man's averaging 33. He's definitely averaging a triple-double, 33, 14, and 9.3. And also keep in mind, if you look at Bill Simmons' famous 42 club, that's when he combines points, rebounds, and assists. He just combines that. If that's your average, he calls his 42 club. If you go look at that, the only players that basically kind of rank ahead of Jokic, the 3 players that are ahead of him, was the 1 player ahead of him, is Wilt Chamberlain. In talking about career playoff sum of points, assists, and rebounds. He's behind only Wilt, and the only players that are right behind him. You go look at it, LeBron, MJ's in that conversation too. You go look at players with at least 1,000 playoff shot attempts. Jokic ranked second in 57% effective field goal percentage. That's behind Dwight Howard. He's at 59%. You look at true shooting percentage, 61%. He's behind only Kawhi Leonard and Kevin McHale. If you go look at players who, and by the way, his three-point percentage is kind of freaky too, because his career playoff three-point percentage is 41%.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about that. Basically, his three-point percentage playoffs is 40%. He's shooting 44% right now. So he's second in career playoff three-point percentage among players released 1,000 field goal attempts. He's second.
He's ridiculous.
Second.
He's ridiculous.
If you go look at clutch shooting, this is before the finals, he was 15 of 32 in shot attempts in the last 3 minutes of playoff games with the score within 3 points. That 47% mark was tied for fourth all-time among the 45 players with at least 30 shot attempts since 1996. So he's clutch too. But okay, playoff plus-minus, if you look at offensive box plus-minus career playoffs, only Michael Jordan is better at 8.8, and Jokic is at 8.1. He's right ahead of LeBron James at 7.5. And if you look at PR, play efficiency rating, which is probably the most accurate cumulative stat out there, Nikola Jokic is the career playoff leader in the NBA in history in player efficiency rating in the playoffs at 28.9. Michael Jordan's at 28.6. LeBron James at 27.9.
Yeah. He's unbelievable, man.
And that's before these finals. He put up crazy numbers in these finals. So I got to go look and see where he's going to be after all that is said and done, because he's probably going to be close to top 10 in all of those stats. Not talking about even the ones I brought up earlier. I said he was like, he is a walking, like, cartoonish video game stats.
Video game is exactly right. He is 2K. Remember we were talking the other day about NBA Jam? He's heating up. That's him every game. Yeah. That's him every game. My boy just texted me and said that Mark Jackson says he says somebody in the park that he got to hit a shot on him that would be looking like he'd be smoking a cigarette.
No, he said he hit that shot, and he goes, every time he takes a shot, it doesn't look like it's going to go when he hits it. Mark Jackson said, back when I played, I had an old man that hit that shot on me with a cigarette in his mouth.
Out the side of his mouth like this.
Boy, you can't come over here and talk to me.
Talking out the other side of his mouth.
Go over there and play with them boys over there. Don't play with me. I'm grown.
Was he shirtless as well? Or did he wear like the undershirt back in the day?
Oh, he just had the wife beater there.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like Marcus Johnson in White Men Can't Jump. When I come back, I'm getting everybody in here.
Man. Did you guys watch the new White Men Can't Jump?
I have not.
They butchered that scene.
Come on.
They butchered it.
I'm not going to spoil it when I was trying to say it about Mark Jackson.
They butchered that scene. They messed with it. They shouldn't have messed with it, and they tried to tweak it to make it a 21st century kind of, and it's terrible.
He's got a vape.
Oh, it's worse. I hate to spoil it for people. It's terrible. No, it's really bad. Because that's like an iconic scene in that movie. And it's not even believable what they did in that movie. It's like one of the worst scenes in the movie. Right. It might be the worst scene in the movie. I'm not joking.
I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to watch it, though.
It's actually not a terrible movie. Okay. I told you guys that. I expected to be disappointed, and I was pleasantly surprised.
How was your dinner, Rudd? Didn't throw up.
Exactly. And you know what? If I expected to throw up, the dinner was okay. It's all about your expectation level. All right, we come back. We'll get into little Texas football / Texans football. Ooh. We'll talk about how those schemes are linked. We'll talk about that coming up right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime One, Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about our friends over at Apple Leasing because they want to be your friends too. And trust me, you want friends like this because Apple Leasing, they have the ability to put you in any make or model vehicle that you want. We all know that getting a new car, although it's very satisfying, it can be really challenging. It can be frustrating. It can be time consuming. It can be really stressful trying to find the perfect car for you and your family, trying to find the right car that fits your budget, the right price and right payment. All those things can really weigh down on you. So why worry about that? You know who takes the worry and the stress out of their process? Apple Leasing. They've been doing it for almost 40 years right here in Austin, Texas. And the only way you stay in business as long if you take care of your customers, and that's what they do. All you got to do is reach out to Apple Leasing, give them a call, 512-346-9977, or just go online at appleleasing.com. Let them know the make and model that you want, let them know the price and the payment that you're willing to pay, and let them do the rest. And they'll take all the headaches out of the process for you. And somebody who knows that firsthand is my man, Mike Harsh.
That's right. I have been a benefactor of using Apple Leasing for my last 3 car vehicles, and I think you should join with me as always. Because here's the other thing. I got a friend today that called me and was like, he kept calling me. I was like, what's up? He said, hey, I'm about to go by Apple Leasing and try to see if I can get a car. I was like, don't worry about it. They got you. They know whatever make or model that you're looking for. The process is simple. They can set you up with the easy payment where you don't even have a monthly payment, no down payment, and no monthly payment until 90 days. Think about that. You got low interest rates, and you have the easy lease advantages. It is so easy to do. Just go to appleleasing.com, click on that easy lease, and they'll walk you through the process. Know exactly what you want, know exactly what you're looking for, and let them know what the price range you want. I did it, and I think you will enjoy it too. Go to appleleasing.com or give them a call at 512-346-9977 and take advantage. Whether it's a new car or used car, Apple Leasing is the way to go. Go to appleleasing.com today.
All right, welcome back to Ball Live right here on 104.9 The Horn. I want to talk about a concept that is extremely popular in football, and we see a lot on 40 acres, and you see a lot at the NFL level. And the Texans are actually going to use a ton of this concept next season based on the reports I'm reading. The pre-snap motion rates, pre-snap motions and shifts are going to increase exponentially for the Texans under Bobby Slowick because Bobby Slowick is a Shanahan disciple. And everybody from that Shanahan tree, they kind of learn the value of pre-snap motion. Even getting to Sark, who also was influenced by the Shanahan tree, he's a big advocate of pre-snap motions and shifts. And he's around probably 55% pre-snap motion and shift rate for Steve Sarkisian. And we'll get back to that as to why Sark's conceptual signatures are linked to that Shanahan tree and also to Bobby Slowick, the new OC and play caller for the Houston Texans. So I was doing some research on C.J. Stroud because Texans new franchise quarterback C.J. Stroud. He is, going to be, I think he's early on, he's going to have some growing pains just because I don't think the Texans have a lot of weapons for him in the passing game just yet. I do think Tank Dell, even Xavier Hutchinson, some of those young wide receivers are going to really show up for the Texans early on. I think they're going to be productive early on, but I don't know how prolific the offense is going to be. And remember, Bobby Slowick coming from the Shanahan offense, they want to run the rock. And I think the best friend, if you will, of a young, inexperienced quarterback that you're trying to develop the training wheels of a running game. And I think the Texans will have Dameon Pierce, one of the best young running backs, probably the best rookie running back in the league last year. Definitely in that conversation. He'll help transition, provide a comfortable kind of pad, if you will, and really be able to help C.J. Stroud get into a groove. And you want to rush him. You want to expedite his development. But one thing I found interesting doing some research on C.J. Stroud, and I shouldn't be surprised by this, but he's really good when he's playing within an offense that utilizes and weaponizes pre-snap motion. And here are his stats with pre-snap motion. He's completing 72% of his passes anytime he throws a pass in a play that had pre-snap motion. Averaging 9 yards per attempt. He has 17 touchdowns. This is all last season. 17 touchdowns, 1 interception, 135.7 passer rating. He led all FBS quarterbacks in passer rating on plays where they had pre-snap motion. And just based on that and based on Bobby Slowick coming from the Shanahan offense, because all signs point to everybody who's influenced by Shanahan, they all end up running a ton of pre-snap motion and learn all the benefits, the advantages of using that cheat code. And nobody has used more pre-snap motion since 2017 than Kyle Shanahan. He's number one. And that's Sean McVay, I think, is number 2. They're like 1 and 2. They're right there really close to one another. And Bobby Slowick, of course, never called play, but learning from Shanahan, I can tell you right now, that's probably going to be a really high pre-snap motion rate for him. And that's a really good thing. And last year, San Fran was number 6. Actually, Miami was number 1. But Miami's offense comes from Shanahan coaching tree, Mike McDaniel. All right, so he also learned the benefits of pre-snap motion, and the Rams were number 3 last year. So I guess the protege becomes the master because they're actually running more pre-snap motion than the San Francisco 49ers. You know who's 5th? It's going to be good for Bijan. Atlanta.
Hey now.
Yeah, Atlanta runs a ton of pre-snap motion. Just trying to confuse and discombobulate the defense. Now remember, a shift is different than motion. A shift is when you move and then you reset. Motion is when you move and you never reset. All right, I combine them both, motions and shifts, when I do it, but some people, they like to differentiate, and I understand that. But getting back to the Texans, because I gave you the C.J. Stroud numbers, how great he is with pre-snap motion, and I just gave the numbers on the influence of Bobby Slowick with the Texans and why he is going to use a ton of it. And, I started looking at all the different offenses that are influenced by the Shanahan clan, and there's a great stat that really does link all of these Shanahan-influenced offenses and those from the coaching tree. Here's a stat. And it's a stat that's a 5-year stat that I've been keeping up with. So since 2018, there have been 8 quarterbacks to have a pass catcher connection with that averages over 3 yards per route run. All right, so from a quarterback to receiver combination that averages over 3 yards per route run. To give you perspective on that, Justin Jefferson last year, some people say the best receiver in the NFL, 2.62 yards per route run. Tyreek Hill is the only receiver in the NFL last year that averaged over 3 yards per route run. He was at 3.2. He was it. That was it. Nobody else in the NFL averaged over 3 yards per route run. Just let you know how elite that is. So since 2018, there have been 8 quarterback to pass catcher combinations to average over 3 yards per route run. Listen to these. 2018, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. 2018, Nick Mullins to George Kittle. 2019, Jimmy Garoppolo to George Kittle. 2021, Matt Stafford to Cooper Kupp. 2021, Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams. 2021, Garoppolo to Deebo Samuel. 2022, Tua to both Waddle and to Tyreek Hill. Now they didn't average that over the season because Tua went down. And Tua went down, their averages dropped. But if you're talking about just quarterback to pass catcher combinations, Tua, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill averaged over 3 yards per attempt. But Waddle's average went down tremendously when they had to replace Tua. But Tyreek Hill is so damn good. His average did not drop. He stayed right up there. He led the league at 3.2 yards per route run. Now, what do these offenses have in common? All right, because you're talking about a lot of different offenses. I went and looked at the play callers for all of these offenses, all these instances to average over 3 yards per route run. In 2018, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Steve Sarkisian. 2018, Nick Mullins to George Kittle, that's Shano. 2019, Garoppolo to George Kittle, that's Shano. 2021, Matt Stafford to Cooper Kupp, that's Sean McVay. 2021, Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams, Matt LaFleur. 2021, Garoppolo to Deebo Samuel, Shano. 2022, Tua to Waddle and Tyreek Hill, Mike McDaniels. They're the only offenses to have quarterback pass catcher connections average more than 3 yards per route run in the last 5 years, and damn near all of them are connected to the Shanahan clan and the tree. 3 from Kyle Shanahan himself, 2 by Mike McDaniels, who coached under Shanahan forever, 1 from Matt LaFleur, also part of the Shanahan clan, the coaching tree.
Yep.
Sean McVay, also part of the Shanahan clan, the coaching tree. And then Steve Sarkisian, who not a part of the Shanahan clan, the coaching tree, but heavily influenced by them when he followed Kyle Shanahan with the Atlanta Falcons. And during that time, he's calling plays for the Atlanta Falcons, he ends up on this list with Sean McVay and with Mike McDaniels and with Matt LaFleur and with Kyle Shanahan. That's a nice little group to be in if you're Sark. And the reason that all of these offenses are able to average 3 yards over 3 yards per route run and be prolific in these specific situations is because they all are heavily using pre-snap motion. All of them. Because they're all heavily influenced by the Shanahan clan. They use it a lot. So getting to Texas really quickly because we know it works at the NFL level, and we know why Sark uses a lot of it, and he's talked about how much he admires Sean McVay and Shanahan clan and Matt LaFleur and those offenses. And I've said on the show, the offense in the NFL that is most schematically linked or schematically likened to Sark's offense, I think it is Matt LaFleur's offense with Green Bay.
Right.
I think it if you just look at the principles of it and the different concepts, the conceptual signatures, it's probably most like Matt LaFleur's offense. But I digress. Here are the numbers for Sark's offense last year. He's targeting to motion. All right. So I didn't do plays that he had plays that they basically had shifts or motions on because that's way too complicated because Sark has motion and shifts on 55% of his plays. I went with a stat anytime the quarterback targeted a player who shifted or went in motion prior to the snap or was in motion at the time of the snap. Okay. 75% completion percentage for the quarterbacks. That's 2 different quarterbacks, by the way. It still fits. 8.8 yards per attempt, damn near 8.9. You're at 8.86. Your first down touchdown rate, I love it. You're at 39% first down touchdown rate. That means 39% of the time you targeted a player who was in motion at the time of the snap or before the snap or shifted before the snap. 39% of the time that target resulted in a first down or a touchdown. Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
Let me ask you this.
39% of the time. Every time you threw the ball, 39% of the time you threw it at the target that was in motion prior to the snap or at time of snap, it results in a first down or a touchdown.
Do you think that's because of the fact that people aren't going in motion with them as hard as the player is running?
No, it's just leverage. It happens everywhere. It's just like it's the same thing. Think about the Super Bowl and what the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2 touchdowns they gave up.
Yep.
Right? Yep. With the motion, the miscommunication it causes. Yep. Brian Harsin used to always say motion causes emotion. And you want emotional defenders because when you're emotional, what are you not doing? You're not thinking correctly.
Exactly.
You're not making good decisions. That's why people tell you, don't make decisions when you're emotional. Don't make a decision right after a funeral, right after you have sex. Don't make a big decision when you do that because you're emotional. Don't do it. You want to separate yourself from that emotion. And emotion basically causes emotion. And I can say right now, defenders freak out when somebody emotions because our responsibility change, the defense change, the coverage changes, the strength changes, everything. And we start freaking out. And we start yelling and screaming at one another because we want to make sure exactly that everybody understands what responsibilities have changed. So my point is that Sark's offense, his emotion is almost like a vital sign, right? It's like a vital sign. Vital signs for people, whether it be your pulse or whether it be your heart rate or your body temperature, blood pressure. One of the vital signs of his offense is pre-snap motion. If you don't see a lot of it, that's unhealthy. When you see a lot of it, that means Sark's feeling good. He's amped up. It's like a heart rate, basically. It's a pulse of the offense. And I looked at explosive play rate. You got a 21% explosive play rate. So every time, 21% of the time, you target a player that was in motion prior to snap, before the snap, results in an explosive play, 15-yard play. So it works all the time. And honestly, my only recommendation for Sark to be use more of it. Yeah. I think you should use more of it. You should motion more and use more of it. And hopefully this year you do see more of it. But it is interesting that it all is linked. Anybody close to that Shanahan clan, man, they learn really the asset that pre-snap motion can be and learn its effectiveness pretty quickly. Sark is no different. All right, we'll come back. We'll get into Off the Record right here on Bottom Line 104.9 Horn. All right, welcome back. Hey, this is the song. Did you call an audible?
I called an audible.
Oh, thank you, Patrick.
Called an audible on this one.
Patrick,
Way to go, PD.
the Idealionaire, Patrick Davis. Usually on a Thursday, he plays songs that are supposed to give hard like clues, breadcrumbs that lead us to the new theme of the day. The new theme of the day actually is about friends because it's National Best Friend Day.
Hey, buddy.
And originally, I don't think Patrick planned to play.
I did not,
Friends,
no, but
Bodine.
it has a better idea than what was going to be on the slide.
Yeah, because
So
it really, the song is called Friends. It's like the most famous hip hop song about friends.
It is.
It's pretty good. I like that. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate that very, very much. See, look at
Some
Hard Over
mistake
jamming.
kindness for being a fool. You like to
See?
be with some because they're funny. You like to come around when he needs some money.
Hard about to bust out of cardboard.
See? Exactly. This is hard just heyday a little
This
bit.
is my heyday. I had the Houdini tape. I had to flip that thing over.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to whip that thing out, baby.
Man, what's
yeah.
the kind of hat that with the cane goes?
Oh,
back
yeah,
there?
yeah. Oh, he had
The
that
cat-
little
yeah.
that hat on, looking
Hey.
like the last ride, doing the ride.
Oh, well done. All right, that was well worth. Thank you very much, Patrick, the Idealionaire, on a new theme Thursday. All right, guys, I did not believe this story when Hard brought it up. I thought he was making something. I was like, Hard, what are you talking about?
No, sir.
Been making up stuff. This is not true. Apparently, it is true, and it is it's being reported by the New York Post and Page 6. So I'll just throw that out there. That the singer, Khalees, who is famous for the Milkshake song, I believe she's a one-hit wonder for the most part.
No. She had another one.
What was the other one?
I'm Bossy.
Oh, you're right. I
Yeah.
do kind of remember that.
Yeah.
one. Okay.
And she originally, if I'm
Two-hit
not
wonder then.
mistaken,
Two-hit wonder.
she has a baby by Nas. Because remember,
She does.
Yes.
She does have a baby by night. You are correct about that.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
And you are. They do say boss in this article. So they
Yeah,
mention her
yeah.
second hit.
Yeah.
Don't have me disrespect the
Yeah,
woman.
make
Call
sure
her
you
one hit
give her,
wonder.
give her 2 songs.
Yeah, because apparently this star wouldn't date her if she was a one-hit wonder. So Khalees is 43 and reportedly dating Bill Murray, who is 72.
Hey, look at my shirt.
Wow.
It's the Bill Murray collection
That's the Bill
shirt.
Murray. There
That's
you
right.
go.
That's right.
Good for you, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And Khalees still looks good. I
Oh,
mean, she's
yeah.
still thick with it.
Her
and
and Sure bring boys to the yard.
you know she gets down.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
based on the song.
Mhm.
Milkshake means all the bars to the yard. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Does Bill Murray get more points, or are we taking away points for
No,
this?
I'm giving him points.
Get more points for
Oh,
this.
for sure.
Does
If we're
Khalees-
talking about Robert De Niro and Al Pacino having babies late, let my man go out there and get it popping as much as he can.
Does Khalees lose points here? So Bill Murray's gaining points, but she's losing them.
Well, I
Do they
mean,
cancel each other out?
I think it goes a little bit even right here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? Bill Murray is. I mean, he's really famous,
Mm-hmm.
and he's really.
He's real.
and
he's
really rich.
making gear.
He's making bank.
Yes.
He's
Still
He's
funny.
probably pretty funny.
I think
Like good?
Ghostbusters
Women-
came out 38,
Yeah.
Yeah, women-
38 years ago or
Yeah,
something like
not
that.
women know sense of humor. You're right. It
Yeah.
is. I mean, I think it is the anniversary of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So give it up for Bill Murray, man. I gotta tell you,
I'm proud of him.
I'm a little
Yeah.
surprised though. I think Khalees was his type.
Well,
Is he dated any other like singers and like entertain like singers or rappers?
not that I know of, because
That's what I'm
I've
saying,
been
like
seeing this on front page.
Yeah, like I don't even his type. What is his type? His type is usually like kind of nondescript. Like, he didn't do like starlets really a lot. He did a lot of starlets.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. CB just set us up right. She had that other song, I Hate You So Much Right Now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about, does he date like singers?
I've
and
never seen him with a singer.
I don't think he dates like singers and like those types of things. He
I
might
thought
date
he
like
was-
Hollywood starlets.
I
don't
was
think he
just
date-
about to say, I thought he was dating a Hollywood star at one point.
Mm,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a little surprised.
I mean-
I'm happy for him though. Good for him.
oh, man, he got game. He got game.
He does have game.
I just still.
72 and 43.
Mm-hmm. She old enough to know what she doing. Miss Parker know what she doing. Yeah. Yeah.
These stories about these older men dating. What do you call an older man? Women are like sort of cougars, and then if they're too old, we call them saber-tooth tigers. What's an old man? What's an older man?
You call it what?
They're cougars that are like in their 40s. They're
Yeah.
like saber-tooth tigers that are in their 60s. I think she's a puma in her 50s. she's a saber-tooth in her 60s. What do we call a man?
She's a saber tooth in her 60s.
Right?
Okay, I got it.
It's still
Okay.
sexy. You're a saber.
Yeah,
you long in the tooth.
Yeah.
you long in the tooth, baby. You sexy though. I give it to you, but it's a lot of
Oh,
Westlake.
my
It's a
goodness.
lot of Westlake saber tooths I've seen in the Westlake HEB.
Yeah.
Hey, you saber tooth, baby. I will still hunt you down, girl.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
But what do we call a man who's an older man who's dating younger women?
Creepy.
I was gonna go
I
with,
said silver fox.
I was gonna go with Lucky.
Lucky
Yeah,
is a good one.
okay.
I'm going
I like
rich
that.
usually. Rich.
I like that.
Yeah.
Usually you got money. Have we dated? Have any of these dudes have been like, I don't know, middle class to below middle class, lower middle class that can get a much younger woman like this? Does that ever
No.
happen?
There's not like dirtbag 70-year-olds that are just
Yeah,
like still
some of this
pulling in.
broke dude in his 60s or 70s. He's just, living check to check, and he able to get a woman that's 20 years
babe,
younger
babe,
than
can,
him.
can you give me 20?
It will never happen.
Can you give me 20? I gotta get my prescriptions.
Yeah.
It'll never happen. No. It's not the way things work.
Somebody said old bulls.
Old bulls.
Or sugar daddies.
Someone says-
There you go.
Horn dog. A walrus. I like that, Chad. That's good. The walrus is great. I like that. Walrus.
I like that.
Older guy's a sugar daddy. Of course. There's a
Yep.
website for it. So
Yep.
dating app.
Yep.
SugarDaddy.com. I think Austin used to be one of the top cities in America for sugar daddies.
I'm sure.
Yeah, sugar babies on the
Yeah.
campus.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know if it still is, though.
I'm about to find out.
You better watch it, mate.
No, I'm
you
just
better,
saying.
you better watch it, mate.
I was just
I
looking
want to
at
see
the
a
site.
hard account on
No,
the
you'll never see that.
Harsh will be like, I was hacked.
Ashley Madison.
All right, we'll come back. We got a report from Orange 24/7 that Coach Steven might have been tipping his plays. We'll discuss right here on Ball Don't Lie 104.9 Horn. Last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there. I left the mic on. I wanted people to hear Harge. I left the mic on. I did it dirty. I did it dirty on that one.
Said, honey, you may be through. You'll never hear me complain.
I wanted people to hear Harge because he usually, when he likes a song, he is not afraid to do a little karaoke.
Oh, he cleared his throat when this started.
Yeah, he's like, hold on. I was like, I'm sorry, Harge. I got to violate the G code on that, man.
You got me.
And the people get a little taste of Harge, do a little karaoke, man. That just means that Patrick picked a good song. That's all that
He
means.
picked a great
For
song.
New Theme Thursday. That's what my man Patrick, the Idealionaire, he takes songs and selections that are supposed to give Harge and I clues and hints as to what the new theme of the day is. And it's National Best Friends Day, so all the songs reference friendship, talk about friendship, or they simply are about friends and friendship.
Oh.
Much like this one, Friends in Low Places.
There it is.
Yeah. This is a great song.
It is. It's a great song.
It is such an awesome. And I love when I'm out somewhere and the song comes on and everybody sings the chorus. It actually is.
And it is
one of those
loud,
moments.
too.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where that does give you kind of goosebumps.
Yep.
Because you can be out at a bar and nobody's like paying attention to the song until the chorus comes on. You're just at the bar ordering a drink. Somebody else talking, having a conversation. They will stop everything they're doing and start singing and go, oh, I got friends. Yep. And I love it.
And everybody starts
going.
And they normally play it when they got the right amount of alcohol consumed in the place.
That is true. You gotta wait. The timing is key.
The timing
is key on that one.
Yep.
My man Patrick always gets the timing right. All right, let's get into, first of all, Specs text line 512-337-3776. That is the number to the Specs text line. You also can hit us up via Twitter, Harge at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse, Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. All right, gentlemen, let's get to this story. Shout out to Horns 24/7 with this story, and it's become a big topic of conversation around these parts, and especially on the 40 acres. So my man Chip Brown's insider piece, always doing a good job breaking a lot of news, even when the folks on the 40 don't want him to. He claims in his latest piece that Sark is changing all of the ways plays are signaled to the players from the sideline. He said, quote, all of the cards that have been used and all the signals from the sidelines are completely being changed out. Sark got word that teams were on to his signals. So the last several meetings and player-coach practices have been dedicated to learning the new signals. For the players, this has all just begun, so it's like learning a new language in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of information coming in from the sideline for each position to process. Also, a player's ability to pick up these new signals is playing a big role in some of their ability to break into the two deep right now. Also, the source said there were certain games, including last year's matchup against Alabama and UT's home game against TCU, when it seemed like the other teams knew what play was coming. The new special assistants, Paul Christ, Payam Sadat, Joe D. Camillus, looked at last year's games and confirmed the concerns that opponents might have known Texas's signals, the source said. Getting the new signals down have been a huge priority for the two deep, the source said, and everything these players have known in terms of the ways plays were communicating the last 2 years is about to change or has changed already. All right, so before we get into the discussion, just a couple of things that I want to get into, because I will admit my ignorance on how often coaches change signals. I don't know that. I'm going to do some research and try to find out. This story broke today. I'll reach out to some coach and try to find out how often are they changing their signals, because I don't know. But the reason I bring that up is because I would think that these days, guys, that you got to change your signals quite a bit. Now, I don't know exactly what the definition of quite a bit is, but definitely periodically, just from the turnover alone. You have, first of all, coaches leave your program. And not just coaches, support staff. These days, these teams probably have teams like Texas, elite Power 5 programs, probably have, 15, 20 people working in your support staff alone, assistants, analysts, special assistants to the head coach, all that kind of stuff. And they leave your program annually. You get like a new group of them every year.
At one point, you had new coaches coming in and out of here every year, too.
That's a good point, too. But you got those coaches coming out, and they're joining new staffs because they're rising up coaching ladder.
Yep.
So of course they're going to share information they have if it can benefit them or the coaching staff they're on, so that they look like they know what they're doing, look like they're a great coach.
Yep.
So for that reason, the turnover of coaches, I would, if I was Sark, I'd do it a lot, at least periodically. And because of players in the transfer portal who can now transfer within your own damn conference and play you the next year. Like, you have to change because those guys know the signals too.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of people that know your signals and know your plays that are coming in and out of your program. And that's not even to mention the actual film study for people on opposing teams who are paid to study your trends, your habits, your plays, and make those kind of connections. That's their job.
And some of those that aren't getting paid, like my man Rod Babers, that does it to break down film to let you know what the tendencies are by these teams.
Agreed.
So with that being said, as you look at the sideline, you're walking in, you're doing the – because that's the other thing. The plays aren't changing. It's just the signals.
It's just the signals, yep.
So as long as the quarterback knows the signals and he can relay it to his team, that should be something too. But it could also be that one signal or two signals that I have with my wide receiver. If I cross my fingers a certain way or I do an X, that means that I'm going to run whatever play. Maybe that needs to change as well. It's like me giving a steal sign. But like Coach said when we had Coach JT Blair on there,
Coach had a good point.
There's different keys to that as well.
And yeah, maybe we're living in such a modern sports kind of ecosystem here where these coaches and opposing teams, they have access to so many technological resources that it's only a matter of time. Maybe it's inevitability.
It is inevitability.
And maybe Coach Blair brought that up because that's why I love the baseball culture, because it's baked in. Right?
Yep.
It's almost part of your tactical, strategic skill set. As a baseball player, you grow up learning to steal signs, learning to try to steal as much information from the opponent as you can. And if they allow you to steal signs and you're tipping pitches, that's on you.
Yep.
That's a you problem. And Coach pretty brought that up too. He asked Coach Blair about, hey, have you been exposed in a sense, obviously making this playoff run where teams are stealing signals and your teams are tipping pitches? And he admitted,
Yeah.
And I think,
Rumor has it's been going around.
Yes, he said our signs have been going around. And I think the reason he admitted is because I think for really good coaches, maybe they feel like it is an inevitability. Like, no, it's going to happen. He said this round they're going to have wristbands on.
Yep.
Because I can't do anything about it. They're going to steal our signals. I can't change the signal midstream, mid-season. I can't do it. You can do it in the offseason. But I meant to ask him before he left, and we'll have him on again because West State's going to keep on winning.
There you go.
And next time I'll ask him, how often do you change the signals? Do you change them every year? Because I'm thinking now, based on the transfer portal, the turnover coaches, and opposing film study, you got to change these signals damn near every year.
Yeah.
Not drastically, but you got to change them.
Well, and again, it goes back to the keys, right? Like if I touch a certain part of my hat or my wrist or something, that's when everything is live after it. Or I can say it's a first touch when you get to first base. First thing I touch, anything else after that doesn't matter.
So you're sending out misinformation and disinformation.
Absolutely.
Like, I know they're like baseball's great.
Yep.
You know they're stealing, so I know they're stealing. So let's
you
give
try
them,
to flip it over.
Let's give them so much information they can't even process. They don't know what the hell it means.
Correct.
They can't find the trend. They can't find the pattern.
And that's why also in baseball they have gone to the earpiece for the catcher and the microphone for the person calling the pitches. Coach Pierce said he's got wristbands, and that's what he does with the players as well. So that's some of the things that you got to continue to look at.
Yeah, I think, just looking at it rationally, just want to be realistic about it, I do think coaches are probably changing signals periodically. I don't know how often. But, it's kind of based on the discussion that we are having. I don't know if there's any way to guard against it these days. You can put in fail-safes, as Harsh just mentioned, misinformation, disinformation. You can freshen things up a little bit. But, if teams are doing their homework and due diligence, and you got a guy or a couple of guys or gals sitting in a film room for 5-6 straight hours in the dark watching every little thing you do, and that's their job, they might pick up a tendency or two. I do.
Yep.
I pick up on it all the time. And I relay those tendencies to you guys. So, I'm not going to be as hard on Sark for this. He has been a coach for about 10 years now, head coach, and he's been a play caller and a head coach everywhere he's gone. And he's been a play caller and or a head coach for like 15 years now. I would like to know how often he's changed his signals.
Right.
Because he's been to, 4 different schools, right? Been to Washington, USC twice, Washington, Bama, Texas as a play caller and or a head coach. How often are you changing? NFL, too.
Yep,
Thank you very much. Yeah, NFL. How often are you changing these signals? Because I think you have to change them a lot. Every time you go to the location, you got to change them.
Yes, more frequently.
He hasn't been at a place longer than 5 years. He was at Washington for 5 years, then went to USC. I imagine you changed them when you went to Washington, USC.
Yep.
And I imagine you changed them when you got your new gig in Atlanta, right?
Yep.
And I imagine you changed them once you got to Bama.
You had to.
And then I imagine you changed them again here.
Not Jimmo, but Nick Saban would have wanted you to call.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
He had all that anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm assuming he's changed them every time he's went to a new location, which would mean that's every 2 years or so recently for him. So maybe he's changed them out of necessity. I would think now you just got to – I think it should be some – and you can argue or debate maybe it should be an annual thing for him.
Yeah.
That every year they come in, and maybe that's a pain in the you-know-what. But it may keep you from losing a game here or there. You believe you lost those games, Bama and TCU, because you were tipping your plays. That's definitely worth you reassessing this issue every year.
It must have been the defensive calls because the offensive calls was working.
That's fair too, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they were winning the game.
You were winning Bama or TCU the whole time,
but you were winning enough.
You were in it to them.
Yes.
I mean,
and you missed deep passes. Don't forget, early in the game, we were on the goal line before he got hurt. He was throwing the pass to Jatavian Sanders. He just overthrew that. That didn't have nothing to do with the play.
Yeah.
Then you had X-Man down the middle of the seam where he dove and he dropped the pass.
Yeah,
I don't care if you know what's coming. They were behind you.
I know. Yes. and part of me, like I said, I brought this up earlier. It's just a conspiracy theory. Part of me believes they wanted. They probably. I'm not saying they gave this a chip. They don't mind this being out there,
right?
Because for them, in the public realm now, in the court of public opinion, maybe they believe this will excuse them of some of the losses. Like, oh no, they were just tipping plays. If they once they sure that up, once they figure that out and rectify that and remedy that issue, we're talking about a team that's gonna win double-digit games. Probably would have won double-digit games last year if not tipping plays versus Bama or TCU. And I'm glad they found this. All right, this is great self-scouting, so I'm glad they found it. I'd rather them have found it rather than not have found it at all. And then we go into next year with the same issue. But the Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams size, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size, but I'll just say this. When you played TCU, your best player, Bijan Robinson, had 12 touches in that game. That had nothing to do with tipping plays.
Right.
That's play calling.
Yep.
That is coaching malfeasance, malpractice, irresponsibility, whatever you want to say.
All of that.
That's Coach Steven.
Yeah.
All right? So that tipping plays, yeah, but you gave Bijan Robinson 12 touches. So what's that have to do with tipping plays? You were force-feeding the football to a one-handed receiver. How about this? No, this is the funniest thing. Because somebody texted me and was like, no, Rod, it was worse than that. And I was just texting with them and saying, no, think about Oklahoma State. We learned after Oklahoma State that Quinn Ewers had hurt his hand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then we know X-Man had hurt his hand.
That's right.
You had a one-handed man throwing to a one-handed man. And he had 14 overthrows in that game. He kept throwing it deep from one-handed man to another one-handed man. Like, that's not tipping plays, Sark. That ain't tipping plays, man.
Not.
That's just irresponsible.
It's random stuff
that's just crazy, man. You had 14 overthrows in that game because you kept throwing deep to X-Man, who had one hand. You kept throwing to him. That's not tipping plays. They just know you are chasing that deep ball, baby.
Yes.
You like Pookie.
Yes.
All right, from New Jack, I got to get that deep ball. And if I don't get it, I'm going to keep on chasing that deep ball,
'Cause I'm gonna
baby.
get me a
I'm
deep
going to get
ball.
that deep ball. We know you. That is not tipping plays, Sark. I'm not saying they weren't tipping plays, but that ain't got nothing to do with tipping plays.
Are we going to see a press conference this year when they go, hey, man, he looked a little off. Was he hurt? And then he goes, no, he's fine. I go, no, but really? Really?
Yeah.
Like, are we going to find out in 6 months that he was hurt?
Exactly. No, because he did that in the bowl game too.
Yes.
He told us before the bowl game that all three running backs are going to play, and then he starts Keelan Robinson. I was like, what the hell is that? And then he plays Jonathan Brooks sparingly, and we find out it's because Jonathan Brooks had an injury of some sort. And it's like, well, you should have been talking about playing all three running backs
Thank
then.
you.
And in that game was kind of weird too because he never played one 6-0 line package, not one of your 2 tailback sets. And maybe that's because you felt like you couldn't play Jonathan Brooks that much, but you ended up playing him.
You did.
He scored 2 touchdowns in the game, but then he couldn't play. Like, can he play or can't play? Which one is it? Can he play? Can't he play? What are we doing
do we
here?
have going on? That's right. That's right.
Is it tipping plays? Like, I don't know if that's tipping plays. This is what irresponsible, bad play calling. I just don't. So, yes, I'm sure you were, tipping plays. By the way, that's also within your purview. That's your job to change the signals. That is. And guys, I know this happens at every level. We brought up the Super Bowl 30, I believe it's 37. Well, Bill Callahan, he's the Oakland, not Oakland at the time. He actually was Oakland at the time. Oakland at the time. With the Raiders, he was their head coach, first-year head coach. They had just traded John Gruden to the Bucs, and John Gruden told the Bucs defenders, listen, I doubted very seriously that this will have any impact at all. But I think you guys should know all of our signals and all of our checks and audibles just in case they didn't change it.
Right. Came
into the game, Bill Callahan, Rich Gannon, MVP season that year, and they never changed the plays. They never changed the audibles. All the Bucs officials came back to the sideline giddy like, Coach, I think it's the exact same stuff that you told us. And he threw 5 interceptions in that game, 3 pick sixes.
Yes.
Yeah, because they knew exactly what was coming. And we've seen it at other levels, right? We've seen it. Texas, famously, Mike Leach, he gave us the misinformation and disinformation of the dummy script in 1999.
Dropped it on the ground.
Dropped it on the ground in front of Tom Herman and Oscar Giles, and they scurried it up to the boxes where the coaches were. And Coach Bull Reese, Carl Bull Reese, our DC, fell for it hook, line, and sinker until about maybe midway through the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I think Texas was already down double digits in the first quarter,
Quickly.
and they went, okay, this is definitely not the script. Yeah, you think?
A little late.
You think?
A little late.
Patrick tells a story about the Spurs.
Yep.
And the Cavs.
That Mike Brown was the coach of the Cavs, and basically they were calling the same plays that the Spurs were running, except Hop can change up a little bit, but all those players have been on the team for a couple of years, so they all knew the plays from last year and the year before that Mike Brown was calling, and they were calling the same names.
The same name? They didn't even rename it.
No. None.
No, and this Robert Orr telling the story. He's like, they're calling out floppy side, and they're like, yeah, we know floppy side, dude.
Dude, I know that. Why are you calling that out in front of us? So it does happen at the highest level. So, I don't want to be overly harsh with Sark, but that it is his job to figure it out. He figured it out.
Well,
I don't think that's the reason they lost 5 games last year.
Not even close.
I don't think that's the reason. And honestly, the truth is, if you're really good, that's also a problem that a coach can solve during the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a great play caller and you can adjust really well in game, you recognize what the defense is doing, how they are, how they are being, how aggressive they're being towards certain concepts. All right, and you can adjust on the fly. And one of Sark's issues is he doesn't adjust really well. He doesn't have, once he's off script, he doesn't have the ability to anticipate the adjustments of the opponents and come up with creative counters, something he's going to get better at. So
he's going to have to.
Yeah.
He's going to have to. So, that's unbelievable.
Like I said, I'm not upset about it or anything. I just think it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's strange.
We get some strange stories coming out during this time.
Yeah, it is strange, but I think he's got to change those signals more often. I think it's going to be an every year thing, it's an annual thing. I know that sounds like a pain in the
And maybe that's just something else that he's throwing out there to make people think that he's doing something different.
Could be.
He could be throwing a straight smoke screen, and then you go back out there and you see it, and it's like, wait a minute, it's the same thing.
That is very fair. It could be misinformation right here.
It's like, hey, man, I'm going to throw this out here because I'm comfortable with what I do. I want people to think, no, this isn't how it's going to be. When you look at game 1, 2, and 3, and you're like, yeah, they're using the same signal.
They're using the same signal.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I do think it's a positive thing to find that issue and discover it. But to me, it's more about, Sark's ability to adjust to certain schemes, right? I mean, the 3 high, 3 down defense, which has been the Achilles heel kind of the kryptonite for Sark.
That's
as of
what
late.
they need to be reviewing.
Yeah, I'm like,
How do you get better with that?
That ain't tipping plays.
Right.
That defense.
That's your kryptonite.
Yeah, it's had a consistent, a consistent result versus you, and usually it's to hold your offense to under 10 points of their average. I've done the research. Sark's offenses average around 30, close to 34, 35 points per game, and you're at 25 points per game when you face a 3-down defense. And you faced that last year 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It was TCU, K-State was also in there. Iowa State.
I think Iowa State was the other one.
There
and
too.
Didn't
and Oklahoma State run.
That's what I was about
Oklahoma
to
State
say.
run some of that
State
too.
was the other one.
Yeah. So,
Or
exactly, I'm just saying it. And by the way, Oklahoma tries to run it. They were just really bad last year. But once they get some talent, they're going to be running it too.
Yep.
And you'll be a fool not to run it when you go up against Steve Sarkisian.
Yep.
I just told you. You can almost guarantee he's going to score 10 points less.
for sure.
So that's the issue, not the tipping of the plays. So there you go. It's just my opinion. All right, we come back.
You and I agree.
Right? So, it's a factor, but I don't think it was a huge factor.
No doubt.
All right, let's get into the Cowboys' new name for their new look offense. Harge, we'll see if you're excited about this new look
We'll
offense.
figure it
Man.
out.
They got a fresh new name. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Come on now.
Right here on Bundle Live. Wonderful hour. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Wow. I know this song by heart, at least the first part of it, because I am a fan of the Golden Girls. And I do love television theme songs. And this is one of the greatest television theme songs out there. And on a New Theme Thursday, which the new theme of New Theme Thursday is all about being friends. All the songs referencing friendship, talking about friends, or about friendship in general, because it's National Best Friends Day. And shouts to my man Patrick doing a great job DJing a New Theme Thursday, National Best Friends Day. Happy National Best Friends Day to everybody out there. Did you watch Golden Girls, Harge?
I did.
You did watch Golden Girls?
Yep.
Did you watch Golden Girls?
Not growing up. I've seen episodes of it throughout time,
Yeah.
but I just never sat down and watched it.
Do you remember Sophia, like the mom, like the old lady?
Yeah. She was not the oldest one, right?
She wasn't. She was
Yeah.
she wasn't the oldest one. I would say like one or two of the ladies were older than her, which was crazy.
Yeah.
This
The
is
ages were
ridiculous.
weird, and it's also crazy to think of, like, if you told women now that age, like, there's women that are still models that are the age that they're supposed to be in that show.
Hold on, how old are they
Like,
supposed-
I'm just saying, like, because they were like, oh, these are women in their 50s and 60s, and this is what
Yeah,
happens when you get a little bit
yeah.
older. And now everyone's like, yeah, that's not that old.
Does that?
Right, not anymore.
The mood of what ages has completely changed in the last 40 years.
That's a good point. And the only one that gave you hope for being old that was still getting down was Blanche.
Yeah.
Blanche was
Yeah.
getting down. Like Blanche,
She stayed in the
She
game.
stayed-
She stayed in the game.
she was getting busy as an old lady.
She's a saber tooth.
She was, yes. There you go. Yes,
Yep,
Blanche was saber-tooth tiger.
There you go.
I don't know why I know this, but B. Arthur from the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that was her real name, B. Arthur. That's how you
Yep.
know. So, and by the way, wasn't the old lady, wasn't she Estelle Getty? Was that
Yep,
it?
yep,
Yes.
yep.
These are names that you'll never meet a young hot Estelle.
No.
Right? Like, because names have changed so drastically. Like, there are no
Nobody's
hot.
going mad.
There's
Marge.
no hot. Yes,
There's no
young hot
Marges.
Marge out there.
Yeah.
No young hot B.
Yep.
All right, Lucy.
yeah.
These are all like older names now that basically nobody names their kids that anymore. So you're not gonna find a young hot version of that. But speaking of B. Arthur, I don't know why I know this, and I just looked it up to make sure that my memory wasn't failing me at an old age. Once a nude portrait of B. Arthur sold for $1.9 million at an auction. I BS you not.
I remember when that happened.
And I BS you not. It was at Christie's auction house in 2013.
Was she like a?
It was a nude. This is a nude portrait of her, and paid in 1991. So for 1.9 million.
That was a lot of money.
And
back then.
it was expected to fetch more than that. It was expected to fetch like 2.5 million. It's a naked B. Arthur.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. Like, who owns that?
Yeah,
Who owns
I
that?
know somebody wanted a conversation starter or a conversation ender. I don't know.
Who is that?
Oh, someone says Estelle Chet, Texas softball
That is.
pitcher.
Pitcher.
Okay. All right.
Lefty.
For the most part, you won't find a young hot Estelle.
Lefty.
I'll admit she's a young hot Estelle.
So it says at the beginning of the series they were supposed to be in their mid-50s.
No way.
The beginning of the series. Yeah.
That's right, because they were living at an assisted.
They're not assisted living, but they were living like they were all together.
independent living.
Yeah,
That's what they
independent
were.
living. But that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's crazy to think of.
Remember that Seinfeld episode where Kramer goes to live in Del Boca Vista with Jerry's
family,
parents?
yeah.
And he's like, Kramer, you can't live here. This is where people go to die. His parents look at him and he goes, no, not you, older people.
Yeah. For reference, Kim Kardashian's 42. They said
I know
that.
Kim's my age.
No, and they were like, the youngest one was 53 on that show. So in 10 years, Kim Kardashian could be a Golden Girl.
That's not
I
fair.
want to give you a reference
That's
of
not
how much things have changed.
That's not fair, though, because Kim keeps herself in impeccable shape. She
I'm
looks
just
great.
saying, though, that's the
all
thought
the
of what
money,
a
with
55-year-old woman was and now is.
I would say this: grandmothers are getting hotter.
Yeah.
Like grandmothers used to be like you would never think about banging somebody's grandma 40 years ago. You go look at some of these grandmas in Westlake now. She's like, I'm a grandma. You're like, you a grandma? You can get it. You can get it, grandma. And so women, no, seriously.
I can't even.
It's true.
Well, we're older too, by
We're
the way.
older now.
Yeah. We're older now, by the
Grandma
way.
looks a little different than she used to. That is fair. That is fair. But my point is that because of modern technology and we live a higher quality of life, that women are aging better. They work out more. They get surgery, cosmetic surgery, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So women are looking old as they get older. They're hotter. It means grandmothers are hotter now.
Yeah. So, all right, here's one. Nicole Kidman, 55.
also keeps herself in amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
She's
Nicole
amazing.
Kidman could be a Golden Girl right now.
That would be a great show.
She could be my golden girl anytime. I will let
It's
her.
crazy.
Oh, man. Another name, Gertrude. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Texter. You'll never find a hot Gertrude anymore.
And me and Gertie going to go have night out of
Exactly.
town.
Think about it, like 50 years ago, dude was like, dude, I can't wait. Dude, Gertrude is so freaking hot.
Heidi
She's
Klum.
so hot, man.
Heidi Klum is 50.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
This is. I'm just saying, it's crazy when you think about it. Because if you look at it, you're like, what were those women like in their 90s?
But you got to remember,
they
because we
look-
were older too. I mean, we were younger at
Yeah.
that time when it first came out. So when we were first watching it,
But Patrick's right, though. That's no, like, now that I'm 42, it's like, so you telling me, like, I'm like 12 years away
Yeah.
from dating golden girls? Like, yeah.
You're 10 years away from being,
Yeah.
from being one of the creepy guys Blanche brought home.
Hey, you know
no,
what?
you'd be
Like
one
I
of the
said,
creepy guys that are trying to date Khalees.
Like I said, yeah. And you know what? Grandmas are getting hotter. I don't know if she's a grandma yet, but
Right.
hey, like I said, Blanche back in the day, y'all know Blanche.
Yeah.
Selma
Blanche
Hayek,
was.
Nicole Kidman, there would be a Golden Girls reboot.
Oh my goodness, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
I'll be watching that.
Helen Mirren
By
is
myself.
like who's the oldest attractive woman that you can think of? Helen Mirren is in discussion.
When I was growing up,
No, just right now. Like, old and still attractive to you. Still got it.
Halle Berry,
She is old.
she's older. Yeah,
She's a Puma. Ain't she in her 50s?
yeah, she'd be a definite.
She's a Puma.
I would say.
I want to be older than that,
Pam
though.
Grier?
You gotta
Pam
go older.
Grier?
I'm 42. I got to go older than 50. I got to go to 60, 70.
I'm down with Pam
Meryl
Grier.
Streep's
Yeah,
pretty good looking.
Halle Berry's 56.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah.
She's closer to 60?
Yeah.
Wow.
Another Golden Girl for you.
That's amazing.
Another Golden Girl for you.
All right. Let's get off of the
golden-
guilts that we've been discussing all this
The
time.
saber-tooth
Saber-tooth tigers.
Yeah, good
That's
point.
right. Yeah, Martha Stewart just did that Swift
She
Suit
did
edition.
just Swiss
Oh,
suit.
that's true. Martha Stewart's attractive. Yes.
Yeah.
You can, Jane Fonda. You can be. That's like my grandmother
I
theory.
watched
Dude.
the Brady movie.
Grandmother's getting hotter.
Jane Fonda is like she's definitely.
Still got it, right?
No.
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 I thought you were going to get,
No.
no. Don't have it.
Brittle. Brittle.
All right. Let's talk about the Cowboys. 'Cause Dak has a new name for the new offense, Harge. He
Yep.
calls it the Texas Coast Offense. Just renamed. He says just renamed the quarterbacks. It's got definitely some West Coast principles, but has a little bit of what we've done in the past, and just obviously marrying them together with a lot of detail and maybe, in a sense, a system that's not out there. So there you go.
So I guess the place that Dak or the offense that Dak is calling is the West Coast offense to me.
Yeah.
But he is definitely looking at
The Texas
calling it
twang.
a Texas. Yeah,
Got a little Texas twang on it.
Put his own little thing on it. So okay, I got it. That's fine. I'll be all right.
I'm calling for it. Listen, if they think their offense is going to be good enough that it's just a nickname, if you're going to give a nickname to an offense or defense in football, it's got to be good.
Yeah.
That's the point of it. They earn these nicknames because they're really good. Right?
Yeah.
Doomsday defense, you know what I mean? The purple people eaters, this kind of stuff, right? The West Coast offense, great show on turf. So if we're going to Texas Coast offense, someone says the Texas choke offense. on this next line. I'm all for it.
They're
It's going to
top
be that
five,
good.
by the way. Texas choke off offense.
It is top five. I don't know what you're going to do to it.
You just got to get wins.
I went and looked at 2022 offensive scoring. Take away non-offensive touchdowns, so no defensive touchdowns, no special teams touchdowns. The Cowboys actually do score a lot of non-offensive touchdowns. They're still third in the NFL behind Kansas City and Philly, the two teams that met in the Super Bowl in scoring. They are the last 2 years. They're the highest scoring team in the NFL. The last 2 years,
Yep.
actually, the Kansas City is second. So my point is, what else are they going to do to this offense? Like, what else are you going to do to it? Like, how are you going to soup it up? Like I said, it kind of reminds me of when HBO Max just went to Max. They added a bunch of stuff, and they added, the Turner Classic Movies, and they added TLC. And now I can watch 90 Day Fiancé on HBO Max. Great. All right?
I was already doing
I
that.
was doing that anyway.
Yeah.
But now they call it Max instead of HBO Max. That's kind of what this feels like. You gave it a different name, but I don't know if you're going to change much. But we'll see. Need a running back, though.
They definitely need a
They
running
do
back.
need a bell call running back.
They definitely need one. I know someone else was talking about getting Derrick Henry. We had that conversation before. I don't think the financial part of that is going to be right. You're looking at Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
I don't care what it is. Just get W's. That's all I care about.
I agree. I think that's why they want to run the ball more. They think they want to feature that defense and they want to supplement with offense, and they've been the reverse the last few years. They've been trying to feature the offense and supplement with defense. Like, no, you guys know you're closer to winning a Super Bowl as an elite defense than you are with an elite quarterback.
Yep.
And I think they're starting to realize that. So either way, you need that big Dak energy. If you don't get that, well, it's going to be a long season for Cowboys fans.
It's going to be a real long season.
I think you'll get it, though. I'm looking for that big Dak energy next season.
Bring
it. All right. Hopefully you get some Blue Chew for it, man. We come back. Got him. We'll wrap it up, put it in the oven, let you know what's on tap. Right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful down the horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Getting ready to wrap it up and put it in the oven. Before we do, we'll let you know what's on tap. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go hornfm.com and you can catch up with them on the podcast page. Really quickly, before we got a little time here, I want to remind everybody, go check out the Golf Club of the Month powered by Callahan's General Store. You go check that out at hornfm.com. The Horns Golf Tour of Central Texas powered by Callahan's General Store is on the move, and this time they're checking out Creek Club. Visit hornfm.com right now and take you can take a video tour with E. Hogan, golfer Omar Uresti, who was actually on with him this morning, Charlie Wilson from Callahan's General Store as well. Onion Creek Club is one of Austin's most historic golf clubs, founded in 1974, follows the natural landscape, letting the land dictate the course layout, perfect for beginners and top professionals. The Horn Golf Tour of Central Texas, powered by Callahan's General Store. There you go. So go check that out over at hornfm.com. All right, what's on tap for you tonight, Harch?
I'm just going to watch a little bit of baseball and get ready to talk about the Stanford Regional, or Super Regional, as the Texas Longhorns are made it to Cali.
Yeah, going back to Cali. Beautiful thing. Patrick,
right.
what's on tap for you, brother?
I may go check out the Max and all the great new programming they have.
It's a lot of trash TV on there, too, you check out. Actually, check out, you are watching a movie. It's called Reality. I watched it yesterday. It's about Reality Winner.
Did you watch
Forensic
Respect?
Files.
I have not watched Respect. I'll watch it tonight, I promise you.
All right.
I'll watch it tonight.
Let me know what you think.
I'm going to watch it tonight, I promise you that.
Oh, and Insincere Tonight.
Oh, that's right. There you go.
There you go. Thanks for your participation on Specs Text Line. We love you guys. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We'll talk about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourselves, but more importantly, take care of each other. Peace.